were hired by the witch hunters to go and investigate a noble who was reputedly dabbling in things that man best leave alone. They discovered that this noble was summoning a demon in the basement of his property on the outskirts of Great London. They were able to defeat him, mainly due to the heroic actions of Tal Murch, collapsing a huge sort of evil occult statue into the circle of fire that had burst out from this summoning circle, allowing them to use it as a bridge to get at the demon. Then, as Jackdaw was sort of rifling through the occult notes of the noble that he managed to rob from the sort of the ground floor of his house, he was trying to work out a way to bind this demon, and the rest of the heroes valiantly threw themselves at the demon, buying him enough time to do that. They were able to, once the demon was bound, they were able to ask him some questions before dismissing him back to whatever hell realm he came from. Although Odgit, our sort of goblin shaman slash alchemist, was intrigued by the fact that this demon seemed to be presenting itself as a previous pagan deity that had been sort of banished to the outer darkness when like the new faiths had come in. But whether anything will come of that in the future, we will find out. Unfortunately, during all of this, Friar Dunstan was afflicted with a curse, a dread curse from the demon. And now when he has to concentrate in order to maintain his physical form, when he ceases to concentrate, for instance, when he sleeps, or when he's knocked out or something like that, his flesh begins to lose his form, as though his body's sort of forgotten the memory of the form it normally holds, and his flesh begins to run like melting wax and sort of become featureless. Now, one thing I was going to ask you, Friar Dunstan, is obviously this game is set a couple of days after the previous one, so you know by now that you have to concentrate to maintain your physical form. What have you been doing when it comes to sleeping? Because obviously you'd still get tired, but you would be aware if you stop concentrating, you start getting the old.
So I guess I've been sleeping kind of on my own with the door kind of locked, so as not to overly advertise how bad my skin / face has become, and then have spent the few days trying without any success to try and cure myself of this curse, and generally just hiding away from the general public and people in general.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. And you've been, obviously your sleep's been fairly troubled because of this, and so you've been sleeping sort of in small bursts rather than like a long relaxing nap. And you've had a few times where you've woke up and your sort of whole body, like it's not just your skin sloughing off the bones or anything like that, your whole body has started to like revert to this almost gelatinous sort of like liquid sort of state. And it's only when you've woke up and you've sort of concentrated that it's like back into your normal form. So you've not got any penalties at the moment because you've only been suffering from this for a couple of days. But obviously you're starting to feel quite tired. Because you've had to been sort of like, right, I'll get a couple of hours sleep and then I best wake up because I don't know what's going to happen if I just completely like melt into a puddle. Will I be able to pull myself back together? Will I still be alive? So you're starting to feel a bit worn down by it. Obviously, that's just a thing for you to role play. If you carry on suffering from this curse for a prolonged period, it may start affecting you in terms of penalties. But at the minute, you've basically just been sort of like catnapping here and there when you've got a chance, and then sort of waking yourself up. And you've never gone beyond the stage of sort of like being able to pull yourself back together at the moment. But
I reckon you've had a couple of evenings where it's been a bit disconcerting because you've woken to the face of Odgit staring over you as you're asleep, because he's just like curious and he's like maybe prodding at you, trying to figure out whether he could scrape off a little bit of that to take it off to do some experiments. just looming over you whilst you sleep.
Okay, so it's been decided by you all that you're going to travel to. There are a number of different people you thought might be able to help with this. Obviously, knowing that you've got Odgit with you, who is a goblin, you've decided to plump for the Brotherhood of Goblin Alchemists, who you will know, Odgit, are basically a collection of the more arcane-minded and learned, in inverted commas, goblins. Now,
Much like myself.
Now, as with when we talked about the Silent Forge, the sort of Goblin Forge, part of the reason they occasionally make astounding discoveries is because they believe that like safety protocols and like health and safety are something that happens to other people. So right. 9 times out of 10, when there's something going on at the Silent Forge, they'll be blowing each other up. The forges will be blowing up. There'll be dangerous effects going on. But because the Bile Ward was given to the goblins to run by like a royal charter by King Oculon, as long as they don't do shit outside the Bile Ward, they're pretty much left alone. So if they explode stuff inside Bile Ward, no one's too bothered. But every now and then, their sort of madcap experiments without any sort of safety protocols or health and safety, because they're willing to take these risks, every now and then they make like a logical leap and they create something fantastic. And that's part of the reason, probably, that the sort of royal court indulges all of the other stuff, because they're like, it's Bile Ward, it's not doing any harm to the rest of the city, and when they do make a breakthrough, we benefit from it. And if they blow themselves up, no skin off our nose, and we've got deniability, because we're like, yeah, we'd love to do something about it, but royal charter, so
yeah.
So they've sort of got plausible deniability, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you? Obviously, this isn't like an official planning, but as you guys are heading to Bile Ward, are you just sort of walking down there? Are you getting a cart? Are you stopping off on the way? Or are you just heading straight there? This is entirely up to you guys.
I guess an Odgit would know some people.
Yeah.
So I think we're just kind of following Odgit. Probably in a cart.
We'll take the scenic route, you know.
No, not so
the
much.
sights.
The direct route in a cart. Trying to save energy.
Jackdaw, I heard he likes a few mushrooms. We can see some of the mushroom vendors. Then you've got some of the local drinking holes. You know, we don't need to rush the affair, man. You know.
No, but I think we can do all of that after we have solved my candle face.
Jeez, you guys.
Know, there's plenty of time for mushrooms and drinkings and.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because as you're riding in your cart through
there's mushrooms.
Now, I'm not going to lie, there are pretty much mushrooms everywhere in Bile Ward, because it's quite damp, it's quite unpleasant. Goblins, and I don't mean any offence I'd get, but goblins aren't the most hygienic of people, if you know what I mean.
No.
Even in this sort of pseudo-medieval time period.
Only for special occasions.
Yeah. So the conditions in Bile Ward are sort of ideal for mushrooms, really. So there's like mushrooms growing everywhere in Bile Ward. It's like fungus a go-go in there. But obviously most of them are just normal mushrooms, so, you know, no problem. However, as you guys are sort of rumbling in your cart, you enter Bile Ward, and as you do, the sort of fairly orderly buildings of Great London give way to these mad ramshackled buildings built with different materials. Like there'll be like a wooden tower there, and it's attached to like a stone building built out of scavenged materials. It's like someone sort of gave an architect like a load of hallucinogenic drugs and a pen and went, design a district for us. Like shot him up with loads of hallucinogens, and he went, and then someone built it. So as you're walking through, it's not the normal ordered style of any of the. It even looks less orderly than the poor sort of south of the river districts in London. There's just a crazy jumble of buildings, some of which look quite beautiful, so that next to horrendous wooden falling down hovels and barns, and then you'll have a nice stone building. and the streets meander in a strange way. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. It's just like people have just sort of thrown down where they're going to build buildings at random, and the streets just sort of crazily weave around them, which actually makes it quite challenging for you guys on a cart, because a lot of these streets, being for goblins, and most goblins don't really tend to travel by carts, they're quite sort of narrow, so you guys are having to stick to like the few sort of main roads through Bileward. However, as you're rumbling along in your cart across a mixture of cobbles, dirt, sludge, there's a light rain falling, so occasionally you splash through a few puddles of water. When, as you're walking along, you've just finished talking about mushrooms, and the friar saying, "Oh, I'm sure we can get to that later, Odgit." When, as you look into the distance, you see what appears to be a sort of fairly elderly-looking goblin. He's got like a big hook nose and a little wispy grey beard, and he's actually wearing like a giant red and white sort of spotted mushroom cap on his head, like a hat. He's got like a leather sort of pouch hanging around his neck. He's wearing sort of tattered Hessian clothes, leaning on a stick, and he's walking through the streets. And as he's walking on, you can hear him go, "Bastard! Bastard!" And at each time he shouts, he sort of like waves his stick.
What do I know what he's on about there, John?
He's in the sort of language of the goblin market sellers. He's making it known that he has mushrooms. Mushrooms.
Yeah, gotcha. That's he's got a fine example of the giant flyer Garrick on his head there as well.
Indeed. And as you're getting a little bit
typical, that would be typical, I guess. As
you're getting a little bit closer, you know that because mushrooms are so, you would know this, Odgit, without having to make a roll. You're from the Bileward, you know all this.
Yeah.
You know that because mushrooms are so abundant, and certainly the larger varieties, and they do tend to get quite big in Bileward because the conditions are right for them, you can actually like peel the skins off mushrooms, and with the correct procedures, you can tan them very much like leather. So a lot of things that would be made out of like your normal sort of hide and leather in other places would be of this like mushroom leather, this fungus leather.
Yeah.
So you can see like as you get a bit closer, you can see like his hat. They've obviously just sort of like tanned like the top of one of these big mushrooms, like carved a hole into it, and he's like, "Good."
I'll nudge old Jackdaw. Hey, Jackdaw, that's your chance, mate. Mushrooms. Fill your boots.
Don't have anything to trade with.
Don't have anything to trade with?
No.
It's always something, mate.
And at this point, Odgit, can you please make me a charisma roll? We're on like a standard difficulty of 12 at the moment for everything. I've not got the graphic up on the big map, but... Okay, so, Odgit, you have actually encountered, in your time in Bileward, you've actually encountered this mushroom seller before. He's a bit eccentric, he's getting on a bit now, and you know that his name is Humpty Bohart.
Okay.
You know that he tends to sell sort of your normal mushrooms. He normally gets like a crop of one type of mushrooms. He'll sell them until he runs out. But on occasion, he gets what he likes to call like good uns. Yeah. And they tend to be like your more sort of specialist thing, but he charges a bit extra for them.
All right then. I'll hop up on the cart. Humpty Bohart! Oh, I recognise you! Come on, let's have your good uns! Let's have your good uns!
He looks up and he's like, "Who's that over there?"
Well, it's me, Odgit, innit? So, Odgit, come on! And I, like, hop off the thing and go, like, scurrying across.
Okay.
You got yourself a fine new hat, I see.
He says, "Oh, yes, so it helps keep the rain off."
Oh, wager it does. I'll wager it. Come on in. Let's have your good uns. I've got one of the big folk up there. He's a purveyor of mushrooms. He'll be most appreciative. But he says he reckons he's got nothing to trade. I said, Don't be silly, he's daft old Humpty. He'll sort you out.
Humpty leans in a bit and he's like, and he sort of, he nudges you and then he points across to a building across the street. And as you look at it, you can see that very crudely with a nail, someone has nailed like a scrap of parchment, and there's very crudely in sort of like ink, someone's drawn like a stick man on it, and then there's like a big red X daubed through it with like red paint, you hope. And he's like, oh, you want to be careful, I'll get knocking around with the big fellas. He's like, wow, they're not too popular with some people in the ward now, you know.
You're having a laugh. Who's that then? What's going on?
He's like, no. He's like, well, I ain't got anything definite, but you know, you hear things, and well, apparently there's some of the younger folk around here, some of the nippers, like apparently they ain't too keen on the way the big folk are treating us. You know, just sort of. I mean, most people like myself, us old uns, like we remember how it were before, so. So we're glad to have the bile ward as ours, and they leave us alone.
Got the bile ward to ourselves.
Wow!
Don't get no interference. Got a charter. What's up with these youth for today? I ask you, what's up with them?
Yeah, I know. He says, but he says, well, apparently
ridiculous.
Apparently, I've heard some of them say that. Well, some of the younger folk are saying, well, what they've actually done is they've just put us in a prison, and like we ain't free to go where we want, so we ain't free at all. He says, well, I don't hold by it myself, but apparently quite a lot of the young uns are getting a bit riled up about it.
Well, they've been going to school or something. What's up with them?
He says, well, I don't know. It's not like it were back in my day.
Tell you what, they need a solid right hander. That's what they need. I'll show you the back of my hand. That'll sort all that out. Bleeding old whinging. We got you for today. I ask you.
At which point I'd get, can you please roll me a d6? If you get a 1, then Humpty has some of his good uns available.
Oh, no.
He's like, oh, yeah, sorry, I ain't got any good uns on me today. He says,
that's a choker.
I know. He says, I tell you what I have got, though.
What's up with you, Humpty? I mean, what, you've not been getting out to the good spots? What's up with you?
He says, well, weather's been dry recently, hasn't it? He says, I'll tell you what I have got, though. He says, oh.
Losing your touch, mate.
He says, well, it's my legs, innit? Give me a jip. He says, well, I'll tell you what I have got, though. I've got a good crop of Azuzus in here. And he sort of opens up his pouch for you to look inside. And you can see these sort of strange, like, crooked mushrooms with, like a brownish cap on them and pink gills underneath them. And the top of it, if you sort of squint a bit, it's got like odd sort of like spots on it that almost looks like, you know, like the Scream mask.
Yeah.
Almost looks a bit like that, sort of like vaguely like a face if you look at it.
Huh. Nice.
He's like, oh, they say if you eat these, you'll never be troubled by evil spirits while it's in your guts. And he sort of pokes at your little pot belly with his stick.
Yeah, easy. I'm finding myself struggling to rustle up some coin.
He says, wow. He says, sorry, but times is hard. I can't just be giving stuff away, can I?
I'm thinking...
It's lucky I know you would get if someone else had come up to me and then started asking about my wares and then said they ain't got no money, I'd give a taste of the back of my hand.
Okay. I've got a spell, painless. I wonder if I could do anything about his aches and pains with his knees and whatnot. I'll tell you what, I'll perhaps catch up with you a bit later.
Yeah, I'll be about.
And we'll sort something out.
All right then, but remember what I said, and he sort of nods back towards the cart. He's like, you be on your lookout.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with these youth of today, honestly.
I know, weren't like that when I were a lad.
Yeah. Nice to see you anyway.
Yeah, and you look after yourself. And he sort of starts hobbling off on his way.
I go back to see old Jackdaw. He's got some mushrooms, but like you say, getting hold of them, that's a different matter altogether. I seem to be lacking in the funds. I was hoping to come up with some sort of magical solution to impress him somewhat.
Here's 10 gold if you want to go and get your mushrooms.
10 gold? Woof, blimey, jeez.
I imagine that you throw the bag to him and then you still
I'll chase after him.
It doesn't take much chasing. He's an old man. He's got about 10 foot away.
Right, well, it would appear that I secured some funds.
He's like, all right. He suddenly looks a great deal more interested.
What are we talking then? You know, friends and all. I'm looking for a good deal here.
He says, wow. He says, I've got 9 of these Azuzus. He says, wow, they're pretty big. Pretty good for season. He says, I tell you what, 1 coin per mushroom. How's that sound? Since I know you and all.
All right. I'll take 9.
He's like, all right, let's see the coins then.
There I go.
You give him 9 coins.
Yeah.
He drops the coins into his pouch, and then he sort of, with a gnarled green hand, like digs out these 9 mushrooms. Like I say, they're sort of gnarled and twisted stems with these sort of weird mottled tops and pink gills, and he hands them over to you. He's like, there you go.
Lovely. What they do again?
He says, wow, they say that, well, if you eat these, but they say that back in the day, like the old goblins, like they used to hang them from their doors to ward off evil spirits, and that if you ate them while they were in your guts, you'd never be troubled by ghosts or evil spirits.
Oh, I know just a man who'll love these. He'll love them.
Before you give them to whoever you're giving them to.
Yeah.
I've heard that some of the bigger folk actually reckon that if you eat these, you get like possessed by an evil spirit. He's like, shows how much they know. He's like, I've had loads of them. I'm alright.
Well, you know, no accounting for their sensibilities.
Well, there is that. I reckon the air's too thin up there where they are. I reckon that's their problem.
I think you're spot on with that.
He's like, anyway.
They ain't got a big enough hooter either, they? It's like...
Yeah, I'm amazed they can smell anything with them tiny little things.
I know. Ridiculous excuse for us nowadays.
Yeah. Anyway, you look after yourself. Pleasure in business, as always.
Pleasure's all mine.
He turns around and he starts like walking away, leaning on his stick.
And I'll go like zipping back. Yeah, Friar, look at these. I've got these mushrooms. Ward off evil spirits. That's right up your street, I reckon.
And I'll show you a picture of what they look like. They look like
at
that.
Get your mincers on that bad boy.
Not for me.
Well, we'll keep them in stock for when we run up against evil spirits. That seems like the prudent thing.
These effectively, like, all 9 of them count as like 1 food item. So whoever wants to put that down, you can just put them as 1 slot, like 9 Azuzu mushrooms.
I'll put that down, yeah.
Yep. One thing you do notice about them is that as you're sort of like showing them round to people, they've got a very sort of like herby, like earthy aroma coming from them, almost like sage, something like that.
The old fella did say that there was talk that if you was like Longshanks, like much like yourselves, they might cause you a few issues with spirits, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think that's all hearsay. That's my gut feeling.
Well, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Okay. So you guys continue on towards the the lair of the Brotherhood of Goblin Alchemists. It's not difficult to find. Odgid will know where it is. It's fairly near the centre of Bilewall, and it's one of the few buildings that has a lot of glass used in it. So it's pretty easy to spot. You know, it basically looks as though like some a mad conglomeration of different towers that are all sort of growing, almost like growing into each other or built out of each other. Like, you're guessing that maybe they started with one central tower, and then when they needed more space, they just like jammed more rooms on it and built another tower, sort of growing out at it at a weird angle. It looks as though like a giant's taken a normal castle and gone like a Rubik's Cube. As you walk up, you can see a couple of goblins. They're holding like little short spears. They're wearing sort of very crude army, like made out of odd bits of metal, and that they've just like thonged together with like mushroom leather, and they're just sort of wearing it. That, like most official goblins, they've got like mushroom caps on and mushroom leather caps on, and they're sort of stood there by the door. They don't look as though they're terribly sort of militaristic guards. One of them is stood there like picking his nose. And you guys roll up in a cart. What do you want to do?
I think I'd get Friar. This is probably your thing. Odkit, you know what to say, and Friar, you have the problem.
Did you want me to lead the way there, Friar?
Yes, please, I'll get.
Okay, then
I'll
follow me.
you.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so what you're saying to
hop
these
off the
goblins
cart.
as you roll up?
Morning.
One of them looks at it, stops like picking his nose, wipes it on his like little jerkin. He's like, "Morning."
We're here to see the alchemist in charge, the duty alchemist.
He's like, "Have you got an appointment?"
I feel like I have now.
Okay, make me a charisma roll. It's an easy roll for you because you're a goblin.
Okay.
So it's 9 or more. Okay, so you have basically come up with the world's most amazing bullshit to get to yourself in to this thing. It's something that's so utterly convinced them that they're going to escort you in as though you're sort of some sort of goblin royalty. So just give us like a brief flavour of what outlandishly convincing tale you've told them.
Well, I've been out conducting most important goblin business, and in the course of doing such, my long lost uncle, who's unaware of my existence, has it's come to my attention that he would be most interested in knowing all about my activities, and for that reason I've brought my companion, who was collateral damage, shall we say, in said mission. So in exchange for this great task that I've performed for Goblin kind, my long lost uncle would perhaps be able to assist me in rectifying the problem with my friend's melty face, which incidentally is quite interesting in its own right. So we wouldn't want to dally in case this condition rectified itself on its own and denied us the possibility of learning more for the good of Goblin kind.
Oh, we best.
Or some such
we
bullshit.
bet. Obviously, you elaborate in character, but he's like, he listens and his face turns a little bit grave, and then the guard says, "Oh well, we leave your cart out here. We best show you in." He's like, "Come on, follow me." And he leads you through this strange, twisting labyrinth of towers until you get to what appears to be maybe a study would be the best way of describing it, but like I say, it's all sort of crazily built with no real sense of an overall scheme when they started building it. They just sort of stuck stuff on as it occurred to them during the building process. So there's like shelves in odd places with strange bottles and bubbling formulas of liquids in there's tables, almost like an old school science lab, like the Bunsen burners and the glass conical flasks and stuff like that all set up. And you can see there's a number of goblins all wearing like aprons. They've got like sort of little metal goggles either perched on their head or on their face, and they're all sort of like melting various things in their Bunsen burners, or like mixing different fluids together. And as they're doing that, you can see a much older goblin with like a sort of white bushy beard, who's got like very like an impressive sort of array of goggles and spectacles and other things sort of hanging off his forehead. He's wearing like comically oversized gloves that obviously weren't made for goblins. He's got loads of tools hanging on his belt, and he's walking around and he's like, yeah, dude, no, half of that. And he's sort of giving instructions to presumably the younger goblins who are sort of doing the various experiments. The guard who's led you all in through this twisting maze of towers sort of runs up to him, and he's like, I'm sorry to bother you, sir, but we've got a young fellow over here who said he's been on a great mission for goblin kind, and he's got a fellow with him who's got some sort of strange affliction. At which point he sort of lifts up his goggles and he's like, strange affliction, you say? He's like, well, send them over. And the guard walks over and he's like, Grandmaster Crux will see you now. And he's like, he turns to go to his post on the door. However, as he does so, he sort of shakes your hand, Odgit, and you feel him slip something into your hand, and then he walks off.
Who, the guard does?
Yeah.
All right, I just like nod at him and try and take a sly like look at what I got there.
Okay, it's a folded up piece of parchment which has like the stick man with a red cross through it, like you saw on the building.
Oh. All right. I'll slide that to maybe like if Jackdaw's behind me, perhaps. He's quite
I can be.
He's quite an astute fella. I'll like put my hand down behind my back. Imagine he's quite observant and just like waggle that paper there a little bit or something.
Yeah, so Odgit like passes back this folded up square of parchment, and when you fold it open, it's got a very crude stick figure drawn on it, and then like a red cross through it.
Yeah, it's just literally a figure and then a cross on it.
Yeah, like I said, the cross is like over the figure.
Yeah. Is there anything to be deciphered in this?
Well, a red cross through something normally expresses disapproval or
dead.
Yeah, but I mean, you're free to make what assumptions you want, but it is literally a stick figure with a red cross through it.
Yeah, it don't look great. It's not looking great, I have to say.
Okay, so you see the elder goblin's like, well, come forward then, let's be having. And he sort of stops mid-sentence and he's like, now, which of you is it that's got the affliction? And he looks at Tal and he's like, is it you?
No, Grandmaster, allow me.
Oh, it must be you, he says, looking at Jackdaw.
No, Grandmaster. He has got many an affliction, but that's not the affliction that we've come here. Allow me to introduce the good Friar Dunstan here, and I'll give a bit of an obsequious kind of bow. Grandmaster, yes, the Friar here has been he's been performing in his friarly duties, and we have encountered all manner of terribleness. Now, I come to you in the knowledge that I feel sure that you can assist us as the Grand Master in dealing with his
Yeah.
his melty face clay-like properties that come upon him when he's not fully in himself. Like when he
Well,
drifts off, when he's a kid.
I'm guessing by the fact that you've referred to it as melty face that you've
Melty
not performed any sort of scientific examination of him.
Well, regrettably, I've not had the facilities at my disposal. Your Grand Mastership.
Well then, big fellow, he says, sort of like wagging a finger in your direction. Friar, he says, well, what are the symptoms then? Well, how did all this come about?
I'll just release my control and let him see.
Yeah, your skin starts like, and he's like, oh. He says,
it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
He reaches back and he like takes out like a little knife, like a little scalpel, and he's like, "Do you mind if I?"
No, go ahead.
And he slices like a thin sliver. It'd be like a tiny patch of skin, not enough to count as damage. He slices a bit off, and he's sort of holding a glass jar there. And as he slices it off from you, it sort of turns into like this gelatinous liquid that like plops into the beaker. And he's like, "Oh, let me examine this. Yeah, all of you like stand over there and try not to touch anything, and we'll see what we can find." And over the next few hours, the goblin alchemists examine it, and he walks back over to you. You see like all the other goblins like cluster around him, and they're all sort of working on it. He comes back over to you a couple of hours later, and he's like, "Well, it seems to me that whatever affliction has befallen you, it's destabilized you. Yes, that'd be the best way of describing it. You see, there's a rare theory that, of course, it was a goblin that put it out. What else? But that the reason all of this, and he sort of gestures around, is the way it is because that's what we expect it to be like. You see? So this desk," and he like taps the desk, looks like a desk because we all know what desks look like. We've all seen the materials go into making it, so it looks like a desk. Now, what I believe has happened to you is something has occurred to destabilize that with yourself, to make yourself more active. Now, of course, this desk, if I cease to think about it, it doesn't stop being a desk because the desk knows that it is a desk. In layman's terms, obviously. Now, your body doesn't remember it's a body. So when you're not actually thinking about it, it doesn't know what it should look like. So and he picks up the beaker with a bit of slime in his. So it reverts to a more ancient form, and he sort of jiggles the jar about. Now, that
doesn't sound good.
Oh no, it's not good. To be honest, you're lucky you came to us. I mean, if you were to sleep for too long, or you were to be knocked out, or something like that, no, it could be quite hazardous. Now I'm just guessing, but if you were to entirely revert to a gelatinous state, including your mind and things like that, whether you'd be able to remember what you looked like and concentrate enough to restore your form, I wouldn't like to say, if I'm perfectly honest. Now, I do have some good news for you. There's a substance that I believe that has the power to twist and change forms, and I believe if refined correctly, but by my team, I believe we could use it to stabilize your form. That's the good news. Now, the bad news is this substance, which we call gloomium, is very difficult to get hold of. Now, he sort of looks around and he says, "Luckily for you, I've heard tales that to the south of the city in where was it again?" And one of the goblins is like, "Wessex, sir. Yes, in Wessex, there's a place called the Weald Forest. And I've heard tell, I don't know how accurate it is, I've heard tell of a horse-like creature that is supposed to be the guardian of the forest there. And it has a horn of solid gloomium, if the legends are to be believed. Now, that much gloomium would be ridiculously difficult to obtain otherwise. However, if you can go to the Weald Forest and you can get to this gloomium horn and bring it back to us, well, it would advance our alchemy greatly, and I'm sure there would be more than enough gloomium for us to deal with your problem.
And how much gloomium do you need?
He says, well, from what I understand, the Gloomicorn's horn is about this long and so wide at the base.
Okay.
Now, it's not a case of we couldn't get any from otherwhere, but it's very rare. I mean, there's if what I hear is correct, in Kentshire there's gloomium infused chalk that flows down the river towards the Bylewater Lake, which is actually on the north side of the Weald Forest. But the problem is it takes an awful long time to refine those little specks into something usable, and obviously time is a luxury that you don't have.
Indeed. What do you know of these Gloomicorn creatures?
Not a great deal, to be honest. I prefer to be a little more forward-looking and don't place too much stock in these legends, but I have heard a number of reports concerning such a creature. I'm willing to give it a little bit of credence, but I gather they're supposed to be some sort of forest guardians or some such, some sort of ridiculous holdover from the time before good, honest medicine and scientific alchemy started to hold sway.
And do you believe that the gloomium will have twisted the creature? That is the nature of it, is it not?
I would suspect so. As I said, this if exposed for too long, the gloomium can have a horrible effects on the form of a creature, but that's also the advantage, since we know it has power over changing forms. If it were refined and used in a strict program on yourself, I believe it could be used to, again in layman's terms, to sort of bind your form into a single shape.
Okay. And you would keep the remainder as payment for your services?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Okay. How long do I have?
He says, well, again, since I haven't seen exactly your case before, I'm estimating, I may not be 100%, I would say a couple of weeks, maybe a month if you're lucky.
Okay.
That's assuming that the condition remains constant. I don't know. As I say, I'm guessing at best.
Okay.
Are you? And he points at Tal. He's like, are you sure that fellow hasn't been affected as well? He's got far too many muscles on him. Look at him. Look at that. He's massive. We can't hear you, Ian, if you're talking.
Yep, still can't hear you.
But anyway, that's the that's the gist of it. They've told you that there's reputed to be this creature called the Gloomicorn in the Weald Forest, who apparently has a horn of purest gloomium that they believe they could refine and use to help you with your problem.
Well, we better crack on then, Friar. We can't mess about here. We need to get down to this here old forest. Get yourself a gloomium horn and Bob's your uncle.
And you guys should be able to see like the map of the Havenlands in the Roll20 window. Obviously the Weald Forest is here.
That's a nice old map of Glyn's there, I have to say. That is a very nice map.
Indeed. Okay, so what we're going to try for this is we're effectively going to split up the planning into like stages, so you don't have to like do the whole plan, and you won't just have one roll, success or failure. So obviously the first sort of stage you plan is how are you going to get to the Weald Forest. I mean, as the crow flies, it's like 26 miles away. So if you sort of walked non-stop, you could get there in just over a day if you went in it pretty much in a straight line. However, there is a lot of hilly terrain around there. So if you're trying to stay to the flatlands, you'd be sort of looking at more like 34 miles. Which is obviously, you can travel about 24 miles in a day, give or take, if you're on foot.
And I think that's following the roads, right? The yellow line is
the yellow line is a county border.
Boundaries,
Oh, right. Yeah,
But
it
I
doesn't.
think it's the white line is the road, and then you have to.
Oh
come
yeah.
off.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so if you want to travel by the road, you could travel down to sort of like the river, then follow the river because it'll be fairly flat around there. And like I say, it's about 34 miles.
Yeah, because we could take the road, hitchhike until the river, and then walk down.
Or we could take some form of transportation.
Well,
Horses or
there might be
ponies.
some river traffic. We could blag a ride or something down the river there.
Is that a town, Six Oaks? Is that what that is? On the river?
Yeah. 6 Oaks, yeah.
It is indeed, yeah.
Just south of the North Downs there. They're probably the Northish Downs in this, aren't they?
So maybe it's sensible to take our cart to Six Oaks and try and get some sort of river transportation down to the forest.
Yeah.
We have plenty of gold, to be fair.
Okay.
Minus the 10 that I'll get used to buy mushrooms. We'll also have to buy kind of food and stuff because we haven't got any rations around.
Okay, so this would be the first stage of your plan, which is obviously it's transport because you're moving goods or people from place to place, or you could go for social because obviously you're potentially planning on like bargaining for sort of river travel. It's up to you guys. You know the standard sort of approaches for jobs.
What's the role for transport?
Again, it's down to you guys really. It depends on how you're planning to approach it.
Do we have the ownership of a cart? Like, do we own our cart?
Yeah, you've got a car. That's fine.
Yeah, because we could just take that, if it has a horse, that is.
Yeah. So if we take that to Six Oaks, and then we should be faster traveling down to the river, the forest on the river, and then we can just come back.
So is it just the travel aspect that we're working out? Our
we're just doing the travel aspect at the moment.
So we're either just going to pay our way, or we're going to try and social it up and blag our way.
Yeah, that seems to be the two suggestions at the moment.
I mean, Odd gets all for blagging, but like you say, if the friar is suggesting that we've got the funds, you know, that would grease the wheels.
Okay.
Yeah, well, if we have our own cart and we have a horse, the thing that we're buying is food for the trip, I suppose.
Yeah, you could travel by cart, like you say, travel down there yourselves. You could travel to Six Oaks and then get on a boat. You could walk. It's up to you guys.
Well, I think the plan of like riding our own cart, down to Six Oaks seems like pretty sensible because that's the actual road. And then getting a boat seems sensible because that's a nice way to travel, just floating along the river.
Yeah, it's like a road, but on water.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So what is that approach? That's so what is the approach if you just pay your way, John? Like for the boat trip?
I would say probably charisma. I mean, I think a lot of this is going to come down to charisma, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's up to you guys which one of you wants to roll, because obviously you're trying to like get the best price and stuff like that.
Anyone any good at charisma?
I'm all right. I'm a pretty likeable sort of guy, you know what I mean? Especially on my home turf with the old in Bile Ward here. And I'm probably one of the smartest out of you lot.
I think you're probably the most charismatic as well. Now that we switched systems and I'm no longer with my great.
Oh, don't give me that old excuse of systems. Don't give me that old.
It's true though. Like with the previous system, I had 3 charisma, was it? So like -3, and I kept rolling 20s. So
It's true.
Yeah. Okay, so
I will secure some provisions and whatnot. I will go and see the ye olde goblin vendor.
Okay.
Provisioner.
Okay.
Purveyor of finest road rations.
So make your charisma roll. Okay. So standard difficulty 12.
Oof.
Okay, so you head into Kentshire. So you're sort of travelling. You're sort of travelling down here towards Six Oaks. It's fairly sort of quick going. That you're travelling like through the pass in the hills. Like I said, there's a bit of drizzle, a bit of rain. It's not too bad though. The ground's fairly soft. Your cart makes relatively quick progress. As you come to Six Oaks, you can see it appears to be almost like a small sort of trading town. That you know, there's a lot of towns around here because they've got easy access to Great London via the roads and the rivers. A lot of towns around this sort of area focus more on trade than they do on agriculture, as they might do in other areas. You can see there's large sort of stretches of like sort of chalk lands and quarries, and as you're moving along, you can see the soil starting to become very sort of clay-like as you're moving into the northern part of Kentshire. As you're heading through Six Oaks, you can see the Calm River, as it's called, this small river that's running through it. It's a gentle, meandering river. However, as you're sort of arriving at this place, and what sort of time of day are you setting off? Are you setting off early morning or?
probably later the same afternoon, because we're under pressure.
Okay, so by the time you get there, it'll just be starting to get dark. It'll start to get to the evening. And one of the strange things you notice is as the light falls, and it's pretty dark at the moment. There's not really much of a moon shining. The moon's the moon's starting to sort of wax, but it's a few days off being a full moon, so it's not the sort of bright full moonlight you would get in a few days' time. But as the light fades away, you notice that there's this very faint, very diffuse sort of greenish glow hanging over the sort of surface of the calm river as it meanders gently through these chalk flats and past the frontier town of Six Oaks. As you're heading towards the town, you can see sort of foundries, smithies, a lot more manufacturing sort of buildings. You barely see a farmhouse or anything like that. However, because it's the evening, obviously most people aren't working. Most people, as they do in these small villages, have retired to the tavern for the evening or to their homes, and you can see a fairly large sort of wooden building. It's got a creaking sign outside the front which has a crude sort of green picture of a crown on it, and you can see sort of candlelight and gloomium lanterns flickering over it. You can hear raucous laughter and people talking from inside the tavern. What do you want to do?
I reckon we should head in there.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
The old bards in the house. A few bards, in fact.
It's a gaggle of bars.
A gaggle of bards. Yeah.
Okay, so I hope that music's not too distracting, so I can't actually hear it at the minute on my computer, so
That's fine.
No, it's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
okay. So you make your way towards the tavern. You can see the creaking sign as I described it. You can see it has the green crown written under it. As you get closer, you can hear people laughing, chatting, the sound of tankards being clinked together. Obviously, like you say, people playing like musical instruments, fiddles, etc. Who's going in first?
Can you hear me yet?
Yes, we can.
Yes. we can.
Ah,
Yeah. I'm back. All right. Beer. I'm parched.
Okay,
Okay.
so
I'll open the door for Tell or whatever. I like swing the door open and do some sort of gesturing with my other arm.
oh, there we go. The music's just kicked in for me. Splendid. That was good timing. Okay, so as you go in, you can hear all this music. You fling the door open for Tal, who strides in. Obviously, is a tall fellow, and as the door sort of bangs open and Tal stood there, the music stops, and everyone goes
Oh no!
and turns to look at the door, which obviously like, Tal's pretty much like filling the door frame.
Hey, lads, get the beers in. 4 beers, mate.
You head over and there's a sort of fairly muscular man with red hair stood behind the bar, and he's like right you are then, stranger. He says, oh, that'll be a coin apiece.
Right, over my shoulder.
And I'll try out
Thumbs
4
up.
gold coins. Yeah.
Nice place you've got here.
He's like, oh, thank you. He says, I could tell you're not from round these parts. Where'd you hail from, stranger?
Well, Leeds originally.
He's like,
Oh,
oh,
I've been in
he's like, you've
London.
come a bloody long way, haven't you?
Well, via London. It's
All right.
I like it there. Big city and all that.
Oh, yeah. He's like, you have to tell me. He's like, mind you, I can't complain. We don't do too bad out of it. We get a lot of people coming through here. We do a brisk trade thanks to the big city being nearby. So can't grumble. he's pouring the drinks while he's talking to you, and he slides over these flagons. He's like, "There you go, stranger."
Yeah, lads. Cheers, Dunstan. Cheers, Dunny.
I take it you'll be wanting rooms for. And he turns round to like the other people in there, and he's like, "What you all staring for?" He's like, "Go on, get back to your business." And they're good paying customers. At which point, like, people sort of grumble a bit, but gradually the music starts up again as people sort of go back to their business, and they've sort of satisfied their curiosity about these strangers. They're just like, "Oh, it's more people from London, right? Back to what we're doing." He's like, "You be wanting rooms for the night, stranger?"
I think that was a plan, wasn't it? What's it, lads?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's sorted out.
He looks you over and he's like, 2 coins apiece. I'll throw in a bit of breakfast for you as well in the morning.
Oh, great.
Yep, that's fine, thank you.
He takes the coins off you and he says, "Well, we ain't got anything fancy here, mind. They're just straw mattresses, standard rooms, you know." He says, "But well, you'll get some fresh fish early in the morning for breakfast."
Fresh fish.
Can you help us rent a boat and passage to the Weald Forest?
He says, "I wouldn't go there if I were you." He says, "Well, if you want to get to the Weald Forest via the Calm River," he says, "you'll have to go through the South Kentshire near the Bywater Lake. Oh, it's a horrible place. It's like, stinks somewhat foul." He said, my grandfather always used to say that you could smell someone from South Kentshire a full half hour before you'd actually see them. That's how bad it is down there. No wonder they're all so damn miserable." And a few people are like, "Hey."
Is there a better way to the forest? Because the forest is our destination.
He says, "Well, I suppose if you could find someone to take you in a boat and you sort of got off a bit before you got to the Bywater, that might not be too bad. There'll certainly be people about who are going out, like fishing the Calm River, especially at the minute while it's, well, I take it you can work that out from the name, but it's a fairly slow river, so we do a lot of fishing on there, and there are people who take the boats down the river to where the fishing's a bit better. So I'm sure if you got the coin, you can book your passage on one of them."
And is there anyone you could recommend who would be trustworthy?
He says, "Well, most people around here, we rely on the trade from London, you see, so if you got the coin, most people around here are trustworthy, because we don't want word getting back to London that anyone's had any trouble here. Jeopardise our trade, so we'll keep a bit of an eye out."
Aye. And who has the biggest boat?
He says, that'll be that'll be old Carl Knox. I'm not saying it's the most seaworthy thing. I mean, it's only a riverboat, like, but
and is Carl here tonight?
he says, "Oh no, he's not much of a drinker, is Carl, but he'll be out first light, because he says that's when the fishing's best. So if you get up early, you'll be able to catch him."
Okay. Is there anyone else who is here who has a boat?
He says, "Oh yeah, there's a few folk around who've got boats." And you see him sort of like peering around the room, sort of scanning the crowd, and he's like, "Oh, you see that lass over there?" He says, with the blonde hair, "That's Willa Irwin. She's got a fishing boat."
Okay. Let me go and speak to her and see if we can organise passage.
All right, you are.
I'll buy you a drink or whatever she's drinking and bring it over to her.
Yeah, no problem. It costs you another coin. he gives like a flagon of ale. You can see this. You can see this blonde, fairly muscly blonde woman. Obviously, she's like used to working hard, pulling in fishing nets and stuff like that. And she's sat there with a couple of, you presume, other locals, and they're all having a bit of a laugh and a bit of a general conversation. One of them seems to be like a blacksmith, and he's talking about how someone came through and asked him to make some horses tack, and when he told them like what they needed, they were like, oh no, we want this, and he's like, oh, as if I need to be told how to build horses tack. I've been a blacksmith for nigh on 50 years, and he's going like that, and the Willa's sort of laughing, and she's like, well, what did you do then? What did you do? And he's like, well, I did it for him, didn't I? It's not my problem if it like falls apart. I told him. He says, oh, the customer gets what they want. He says, I told him. I said, look, if you do it like this, it might be all right for a few weeks, but it'll give out on you. As soon as you put any pressure on it, it'll give out on you. But they weren't having it. They wanted what they wanted. So, well, I get it. And she laughs and sort of like finishes her drink. She's like, puts the tankard down, and she's like, all right, same again, is it? And she starts to like get up.
And I'll just come in and say, I'm looking for Willa Irwin.
She looks over and she's like, yeah, that's me. What's it to you?
I hear from Muscular Redhead that you have a boat that you might possibly be willing to rent.
She's like, Muscular Redhead? Oh, you mean Blake?
Yes, that's it.
She says, well, I've got a boat, but it isn't a pleasure cruise boat. It's a working fishing boat.
Aye, and I'll give her the beer or the ale, and
she like takes it off you, and she's like, yeah, you good health.
And yours, and I'll just sit down at the table at your space.
Yeah.
And just say, me and my companions are looking to travel south along the river to the Weald Forest.
At which point, Tal, can you please make me a strength roll?
No. Very poor one.
Okay. So she looks at you, and initially she raises an eyebrow. She's obviously fairly impressed with the fact that, like I say, she's fairly muscly herself. She's obviously a working woman, and she looks over you, and she initially looks quite impressed. However, you get a little bit carried away with like doing the old flex, and you stumble over one of those little bar stools. You don't fall over, and you right yourself, and you're like. But she laughs loudly, and she turns back to Dunstan. So obviously you're sort of like tomfoolery has sort of like perhaps muted her initial like appraisal of you. She turns back to the friar, and she's like, well, luckily for you, it just so happens that I'm short a few hands at the minute. People moving on and whatnot. So if you're willing to work your passage, I'm not saying it'll be easy. It's hard graft. I know it's called the Calm River, but it's still you still got to sail it. You've got to get the nets in, got to set the pots out. So if you're willing to work your passage, and like I say, it's going to be hard graft. If you're willing to work your passage, where is it you're planning on going to? How far down river do you want to go?
Forest, down to the just before the Boyle Lake.
She's like, oh, Bilewater. She's like, fuck that. I'm not going near Bilewater. It reeks.
Yeah, but the north of that.
She's
close
like,
to the forest.
She's like, well, it's a bit further than I normally go, but I tell you what, if you work your passage, I'll take you to the northern outskirts of the forest. I'm not going to hang around, mind you, so you'll have to make your own way back.
Aye, and could you be persuaded to come back and get us in 2 days later?
I suppose. I mean, I'll be down that way anyway for the fishing, like. So,
yeah.
I mean, I can hang around a little bit while I'm getting my fish in, but I can't hang around loads. So, if you want to be picked up in 2 days' time, you need to be in the place I'll drop you off, early doors in the morning, and then I can pick you up. If you're not there, I can't wait. I've got to make a living.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly reasonable. We can, we'll be there, or we will walk back ourselves.
Right, you are then, and she spits on her hand and holds it out towards you.
And I'll do the same, yeah.
She's like, right, well, I'm not setting out until first light tomorrow, but you need to make sure you're up when the cock crows.
Yeah. That's us, early birds.
You know,
Get the world.
devil makes work for idle hands.
Indeed. There'll be no idle hands. I assure you we will earn our passage.
She's like, right, well, glad to hear it. And, okay, so with that sort of transaction winding up, is there anything you guys want to do for the rest of the evening?
Not for me, anyway.
Okay, let's turn the tavern music off for a bit.
The only thing I would perhaps... Does anybody got any theories on what might be going on with this stick man with a red cross through it?
Well, you've got plenty of time to discuss it, so feel free.
I was just wondering.
I'm guessing it's the start of a rebellion that they're saying no more humans.
Yeah, it's looking a bit that way.
Assuming I could understand your conversation with hum. But that definitely feels like there's a undercurrent of tension coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'll clue everyone in on that little conversation I had about the youth and the goblins and everything, because I'm not impressed with that. I think that's out of order.
It might be one for us to investigate when we get back to the city.
Yeah.
Find out who is causing this.
Who's the troublemaker?
Yeah. Or if they are perhaps being oppressed.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Find it, maybe get to the bottom of what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, that it feels like that would be the right thing to do. Before any more blood is spilled. Yeah.
But that's all. I feel like that I've been reflecting on that on the way down here, and given a chance, I discussed that with my companions. But beyond that, I've nothing more to add.
Okay, does anyone else have anything you want to do before you're retired for the evening?
No.
Okay, so you retire to the fairly sort of sparse quarter. You've got, like, say, straw mattresses, nothing too outrageous, but you're fairly comfortable. You pass the evening. You wake up in the morning. The rain has got a little heavier. As you sort of look out, you can see the sun rising. There's like a heavy rain falling. You can see a number of people already moving, presumably fishermen, moving around the town. They're wearing sort of like leather hoods and caps and sort of wet weather gear.
Okay, so I guess we'll head to have our breakfast and head to the pier and try and meet Willa.
Yep, so you get up in the morning, you have a lovely breakfast of mackerel that Blake, the barman, sort of serves out. It's like a sort of fish stew, basically. And then you head out. You can see Willa Irwin. She's got a sort of small sort of sailboat, effectively. And you can see there's nets sort of rolled up on it. There's like lobster pots. There's various ropes sort of stringing around it to hold up these sails. And you can see she's sort of like checking these nets and getting everything ready. She's wearing wet weather gear, like I say, got a hood pulled up. You can see a bit of a blonde hair poking out from underneath it.
Okay. So I'll walk over and say, none of us are boat people, so we'll just need you to tell us what you want us to do, and I guess we'll drop my pack and do whatever she tells us to do.
She's like, yeah, no problem. You take those ropes over there, you check those nets, and she starts telling you what to do. After maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you've checked over everything. She gives a last look over stuff to make sure she's satisfied. Ushers you guys on board, sort of unmoors the boat, casts off, heads on, lets the sail down. There's a fairly strong wind blowing. You hear the as it fills the sails, and the boat starts moving away down this fairly placid river calm. You can see the ripples on the water where the rain's falling and splattering down on it. Like I say, let me just see how far away you are. So it's probably going to take you about half a day to get to where you want to go. During the course of that, obviously there'll be a couple of little stops because Willow's like putting nets out and stuff like that to do fishing. I'm going to ask, since you guys are expected to get involved, and it is hard work, it's physically taxing. Put my teeth in. I'm going to ask, can each of you please make me a Constitution roll?
John, can I try and do the minimum, like blag my way out of?
You can do, in which case I'm going to ask you to make a dex roll to basically see if you manage to sort of like get away with it.
Okay.
Okay, so unfortunately, Odgit, you're trying to slack off a bit, and she gives you like a bit of a clip round the ear roll, and she's like, "Oh, we ain't got time for no slackers on this boat. Go on, get them nets in." So can you?
I've only got little arms.
She's like, "Well, you should have thought about that before you booked passage on a fishing boat. That's not my problem."
Well, it was him. He said we had plenty of gold, and then I ended up.
She's like, "Go on, get them nets in." Can you make me a con roll, please, Odgit?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
See what I mean?
Okay, so
Like my fingers to the bone.
anyone who got less than 12 on their con roll, you are going to suffer a -1 penalty to all of your effort rolls. So weapon effort, normal effort, all of that malarkey, because of physical tiredness. Anyone who beat that, you're tired, but you're fine. Odgit, you are going to suffer a -2 because you got that incredibly abysmal roll.
Indeed.
So, like you say, because you're a bit shorter of stature and like a bit scrawnier, you are absolutely cream crackered by the time
I'm
you
not
get
cut
there.
out for this.
Yeah.
This fishing malarkey.
Okay. So, after about half a day, the nets have been pulled in, the pots have been pulled in, fish have been brought on board, etc. They've been dumped into pots on the deck, and you see in the distance what appears to be a sort of deciduous forest getting closer and closer. As you're getting nearer, there's this horrible sort of faint smell in the air. It smells a bit like boiled cabbage, or like a particularly flatulent horse has wandered into the area. And as you're sort of heading south, like the smell's getting stronger and stronger the further south you go.
Okay.
You hear Willa say, "Oh, I can smell the boiled water from here." Oof.
Okay. Well, this is as far as you need to bring us. We'll, if you can bring us over to the shore, we'll jump off, and if you can come back here in, the morning of 2 days' time.
Yeah, right. Why don't
so
she moves the rudder and gently guides the boat to the shore, at which point she actually jumps off the side, sort of holding the mooring rope, and she hammers an iron spike into the soft soil and then loops it around and ties it.
Okay. So I guess we'll just jump off and go about our business, and we'll see her in whatever 2.5 days' time.
She says, well, whatever you're up to, good luck to you, I suppose. And she pulls this iron spike out, grabs the mooring rope, jumps back on board her boat, and starts to sail away.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are looking at this large deciduous forest in front of you. Like I say, it's sort of midday by the time you've got there. You can see that this forest must have been here for quite some time. The trees are extremely tall. It doesn't look as though the northern part of it that you're looking at has been sort of particularly sort of logged or farmed or anything like that, because there's some big old trees here. What do you want to do?
I'll take a big old sniff up of that air. Oh, yeah, that'll put hairs on your chest. Smell that. Proper country air, that is.
How big is the forest, John? So it's kind of hard to tell on the map.
Pretty big.
It's about 30 miles across at its widest point.
Okay.
But yeah, I say that obviously you wouldn't know that exact measurement, but looking at it, you can see it's a huge forest.
Sorry, I guess it's not.
Yeah,
it's not small. Okay.
Forest as far as the eye can see.
So if this thing is truly a guardian of the forest, could we potentially chop down a few trees and see if we could lure it out to attack us?
Well, I think at this stage we should probably go into the sort of second part of our planning stage. So obviously the standard ways you can, obviously the plan is find this Gloomicorn, get its horn. The standard ways you can approach a job are assault, deception, infiltration, magic, social, or transport. Those are the basic ways. Now, obviously, you guys have got a bit of time while you're travelling and sort of when you get there to discuss what you actually want to do for your plan. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys to discuss how do you plan on finding this Gloomicorn.
Sorry, John, could you just run me through the 6 of those options again?
No problems.
Sorry.
Assault, deception, infiltration, magical, social, or transport.
Okay.
I'm thinking infiltration, probably skulk about in the wood, or deception if we want to go for the forest guardian angle.
Yeah, I mean, obviously deception if you're trying to lure it out in some way.
Yeah, I was thinking deception there. That was the one that stood out to me. But I could see how you might infiltrate the place.
Well, yeah, infiltration will be like you're moving around the forest trying to remain unseen. You're looking for any signs of this creature, etc.
Trying to sneak up on it in some way.
Yeah.
Bringing it to us kind of feels like a more controllable situation.
Right good at sneaking around.
So what? Like that's like deception, then? Yeah, you're thinking?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's a bit of a ruse. This idea of cutting down some trees and like baiting it. You're kind of baiting it, in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the plan, guys?
I suppose the other flag is you find some inhabitants of the forest and then sort of like pump them for information. So you got a potentially social angle as well.
Which one do we want to go for?
Do we know, is there people living here? Sorry, I guess we didn't ask anything about the forest before we left.
There's gonna be some sort of inhabitants, isn't there? There might be some goblins. There might be some.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what.
Pixies and shit like that.
I'll tell you what. One of you make me a charisma roll, and I will use that roll to see if you've like picked up on any chat while you're in the tavern, etc.
Yeah, 16.
Okay. Yeah, obviously we're on standard difficulty 12 at the minute. So you have heard in general conversation, you probably asked a little bit while you were in the tavern, you've heard that the eastern half of the forest is fairly sparsely populated, mostly because of the foul stench from the bile water. However, the western part of it, which is sort of like further west than you are at the minute, is logged and hunted in fairly often. One of the more unsettling things you've heard of is there's rumours, and it's just like local sort of legends, of some sort of giant wolf-like creature that roams the Weald Forest.
Okay.
Well, I've got an idea. If we was to somehow sort this out, get hold of this wolf, maybe we could convince one of these Gloomicorns to sort us out with a horn. Maybe they could detach their horn, attach it, and kind of like.
I think that's probably a negotiation that's not going to happen.
Oh, okay.
That feels like the kind of thing that they wouldn't go for unless there is somewhere here in the forest a graveyard that they go to die. But given the obvious potential of this Gloomium, I'm not sure that's something they do anymore.
All
I
right.
suspect that the Gloomicorn and the wolf are one and the same, and that the Gloomium has twisted the form of the creature, and common folk with less magical experience than adventurers such as ourselves would probably see it and be unable to understand that it's anything other than a creature that their mind would go to, and the closest thing they'll probably associate with is a wolf. So I suspect they're one and the same.
So what you're saying is they're as thick as two short planks, basically, these locals.
Historical evidence would indicate that was most likely,
yeah,
yes.
that was all you.
In a polite, roundabout sort of way. Yeah,
Yes.
You're probably right. Well, I suppose we better go and have a look, see what's what. So you're in for deceiving this Gloomicorn.
The social idea also sounds good. Happy to give that one a go.
Yeah, we'll give the social one a go first.
Right, so we'll try and find someone who could help us in some capacity. Failing that, into the woods and try and bait it out.
Yeah, they might be able to point us in the right direction anyway, or something like that, I guess.
Okay, in which case I'm going to ask, can one of you please make me a wisdom roll, and this is for the purposes of locating a person. So like I say, it's
I'm quite good at. So
okay, it's a
he says optimistically.
It's a difficult roll, so it'll be difficulty 15 because this area is like quite sparsely populated.
Oh, not so much. Not even if it was an easier roll.
Okay, so you're searching around. You don't find anyone. You do find what appears to be an old, like obviously been abandoned for quite some time. Maybe like a woodcutter's cottage or something similar. It's been long abandoned. But when you sort of peer inside this ramshackle, half-collapsed wooden hut, you can see there appears to be a lot of damage inside the hut. So like there's sort of like timbers have like massive sort of like slices on them and bits of chunks of wood pulled out of them. There's bits of broken furniture and crockery lying around, but it's obviously been there for quite some time. There's cobwebs on it. There's dust in places, etc. It's not been inhabited for a while.
So something's gone berserk in here, wrecked the place.
That would seem to be the case. Yeah, you can see like there's huge from the couple of like big supporting timbers that are remaining. You can see there's like big chunks of wood that appear to have been like sliced out of it.
Not super recently, but not like a long time ago either.
You would guess it's maybe like a year or two ago.
Right. Huh.
You can see the place is obviously in quite a bad state of disrepair, so someone's like not been here for like quite some time.
No remains, no casualties or anything like that.
I'll tell you what, make me a wisdom roll. I'd get standard difficulty, so 12.
Okay. Whee.
Okay. So that is Absolutely grand. Can you please roll me a D100?
A 38.
Okay. So as you're looking around, you find what appears to be a small cupboard. You don't find any body, but you find like a small cupboard that seems to have been in a fairly good state of repair. And as you look inside it, you see there's like a small cooking set inside it, like pots, plates, utensils, stuff like that. There's like a couple of little jars as well with like sort of corks in them, and when you like uncork one and have a sniff, there's a couple of little jars. They've obviously got spices of some kind in them.
All right. Are they sort of decent quality? Are they?
Yeah, they seem to be pretty good because of the seal that the cork's made.
Can I black that gear into a bag or something?
Yeah, you can put it on your carriage sheet, and I'll tell you that is a cooking set. And what that means is when you camp and you would like recover hit points, because you're like cooking for everyone, you can heal 5 hit points over your maximum heart rating. So if you've got 10 hit points, as long as Odd gets breaking out the cooking set and cooking for you, you can heal up to 15 hit points.
Nice. That's pretty sweet, man. And I might be able to press that into alchemical service at some point as well.
Indeed, perhaps. But like I say, you don't find any evidence of like bodies or anything like that, or like bones or anything.
Mm.
One thing you do notice, however, though, is there's like a big dent in the side of the cupboard. It's not done enough to like smash the cupboard, but it looks as though something heavy impacted with the side of the cupboard and it sort of like bent it inwards a little bit. So it's a bit of a struggle for you when you're opening the door of the cupboard, but you manage to prise it open. But like I say, it looks like something heavy's, if this is the side of the cupboard, something heavy's hit it and it's like...
Yeah. Hmm.
Sorry, is there any indication that what caused the damage might have been like some sort of creature with a horn, or is it all...
Okay, so you have a scout around and you see that there are 2 distinct types of damage that have been done in here. Some of the damage appears to have been done by like a blunt, heavy instrument, like with the side of the cupboard. The sort of bits of wood that have been chipped out, it almost looks as though someone's used like a big, wickedly sharp knife to just like slice a bit of the wood out. So it's not like claw marks. It's just like someone with a really sharp blade's got like and just like nicked a chunk of wood out.
Okay. Okay, so should we try and do something to attract it to the hut and kind of hide? Some of us hide in it and try and get it to walk into a trap.
That seems like a plan.
Yeah, maybe cook some grub.
Yeah.
Do we know what these things eat?
Hopefully
No,
not.
I mean it's a fairly big old forest. That's the only thing, isn't it? I mean,
Sure. So let's us trackers have a look outside, see if we can pick up any trails.
Okay, so are you suggesting some sort of infiltration mission, Jackdaw?
Yeah, maybe do exactly that. Like try and find if we can find a trail, spoor, something to actually like put this creature in a radius of some kind. Because as as Colin said, it's a big old forest. So
Okay, no problems. So, whoever's doing the tracking, if you'd like to make me a wisdom roll, difficulty is 12.
Well, hi. Does someone else want to do it?
I'm baseline bad at everything, so
Okay. Ooh.
Okay, so it takes you a few hours, but you start exploring the forest. One thing you do notice that's particularly odd for Idunstone is the moment you enter the bounds of the forest, you're actually walking through the trees, you feel a tremendous sense of relief, as though a sort of a sort of psychic weight has been lifted off you, and you find that whilst you're within the bounds of the forest, even when you're not concentrating, your curse doesn't seem to be bothering you.
Okay.
So
Well, that's quite interesting, isn't it?
you'd sort of got used to like the constant sort of mental pressure having to constantly think about what you look like. So it has sort of faded into the background, but you suddenly notice that like it's not there anymore. You're not having to do that as you enter the bounds of the forest. It takes you a good few hours of exploring, and it's just starting to get dark when you spot a number of trees with what appear to be very similar slash marks to the ones that you saw in the woodcutter's abandoned hut. And you find evidence of sort of like animal droppings, like large piles of animal droppings around that area.
So, how obvious is it that it could be that wolf, John? Like, that's my obvious suspicion, but
Well, the only reason you think it's possibly not a wolf is you've not seen any sort of signs of like claw marks or anything like that. You've not found any sort of like wolf hair or anything. So it could be, but it doesn't seem likely.
so they're single slashes, not like
Yeah, it's like a single slash, like someone with a sharp blade has gone like.
they're all like that. I thought there was like both.
No, they're all like that.
I misunderstood. Ah,
And I'm going to suggest at this point, to give you guys a chance to think about it, we have a 5-minute break so we can all go and grab a drink, use the facilities, etc. And we'll come back in 5 minutes. Then we'll press on with you guys exploring the Weald Forest. So back in 5 minutes.
okie doke.
Oh.
big old D&D thing this weekend, John.
Is that?
Yeah. The old Wizards. I forget what it's called now, but it's like a big extravaganza launching their new storyline. But I tell you what, they got some big old celebrities now involved. It's back in the day when you think about trying to rustle up kids to play in your game and stuff, I just never saw it being this kind of.
It is mad how it's blown up.
Yeah, the whole performance thing. It's like, I think they're taking it in a direction. I think they're splintering off I reckon they're gonna splinter off this other game idea. It's like what are them things called, them alternative reality games or whatever. They got a load of them people on board with it, coming up with this experience. So they got actors playing the roles of the characters, and like social media and everything else, Discord, people are kind of got to solve what's going on. So something's happening, and the whole audience in a multimedia way is contributing their effort to, so this is, I think there's a PvP thing. So the people, these personalities are playing characters, and then the people that are involved in it and watching it are feeding information to their favorite person. And then so like it's international. So overnight there's clues coming out, and there's like teams of people contributing their idea. Yeah, it sounds like an interesting thing. I mean, it's not my bag, but it's interesting development.
Yeah,
because of the scale of it.
I'll have to keep an eye out. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we're back. You've scouted around. You've found this sort of area, sort of deeper into the forest, like a couple of miles into the forest, where you seem to be coming across these like slash marks in the trees, and these animal droppings more often. What do you want to do?
Could we have a closer look at some of these droppings, John, and break them up a little bit and find out maybe what this thing's been eating?
Yeah, no problem.
Seems like a job for Tell.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So you've got Oddgit going like, oh, we should probably have a closer look at those droppings and break them up and see what's going on. Go on, Tell.
Yeah, I'll grab a big pile of them and.
Yeah. So Tell's not proud. He's waded through shit before.
He's macerating them.
Okay, so as you sort of
not go that far, mate. No.
As you sort of crumble apart these droppings in your hands, it seems to mainly be sort of digested like vegetable matter. You think, I mean, you're no expert, but it seems to be mainly sort of like grass and leaves and.
Can't see any bones in there, so it's not eating like chickens or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
Just wipe my hands on the grass nearby. There we are.
Now, obviously, it's getting like late by the time you guys have sort of got here, and you've done all your exploring. So it took you a bit of a while to find this. So we're getting sort of late on in the night. Are you guys going to push on, or are you going to camp in the forest?
I mean, I'm quite happy to camp in the forest. I mean,
yeah, I think we should. But let's keep watch.
Yeah. That seems like a way to summon some ogres with butt diamonds, so I'm down.
It's all about them butt
We could use
diamonds.
a butt diamond, yeah.
So I was if that would ever happen.
Of course, this does mean I'm going to have to look up the healing and rest rules, which I'm sure are located in some ridiculous place.
I'll find it, John.
All right. Well, I know the recovery is on page 20, so
Yeah.
recovery. Here we go.
So in mere moments. Okay, so I think we're talking in hours.
In hours,
because
yeah.
we're gonna
So you can use one turn to recover one heart. It doesn't take a roll. However, if Odd gets whooping his food kit out, now obviously that will involve the smells of lovely food wafting, so it's potentially going to give away your position if there is anyone about.
Yeah, but you're camping. You got to have a fire and get your cooking stuff out.
Okay, so you guys will effectively recover 15 hit points, and that can take you over your maximum because of the special bit of gear that Odd gets using.
Really?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's cooking gear.
It's Odd gets cooking pots of paradise.
Is it something that the uninitiated could tell is magic, or is it just you're that damn good?
It is literally just the fact that he's almost got like a professional chef's kit. So the normal the normal healing assumes you're eating like rations and whatever you can scrabble together. Whereas with the supplies he's got in there, like spices, and there's probably some dried meats and stuff like that, he's effectively like, oh, don't worry about it, guys. I know you're expecting like hardtack. Well, boom, banquet.
Yeah, because you're just laying it out.
Yeah, man, I'm just combining it with some of that wild alchemist talent for cooking up potions. I'm just, I'm diversified slightly into camp cookery.
Yeah, there's probably Jackdaw like peering over the shoulder, just like, is that some of your alchemy magic? And you're like, nah, but it helps.
And just to give you more of an idea of what the description, because this was on the shabby loot table, it's a cooking set. Item, pots, plates, utensils, spices, heal 5 hit points over your heart maximum when camping.
There you go. So you've got to be camping as well.
It doesn't seem like a shabby thing to
I
have.
know.
Because I got some fake currency in Lloyd's game.
The shabby loot table is bizarre because like there's no middle ground. Everything you roll on it is either absolute shite or amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just a 15 on top of what we have.
Yeah.
It's a 5 on top of what we've got.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it would be 1 heart plus 5, so 15 hit points.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, 15. Nice. Still, like,
Did you?
I am stunned.
Well, yeah. To be fair, you can't normally go over your maximum, whereas now you've got like an extra 5 hit points in the bag.
Yeah, and this is just him cooking.
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, this only works when you're camping. So
that's what's shabby about it, because you can only do it when you're living the shabby lifestyle, really.
Well, the great outdoors, the bracing air.
Yeah, you can't be like giving it large.
yeah, I mean, but basically, it pretty much means when you're in London, you won't be able to use it because you're not really camping in London. You're in a city.
Yeah, that would be glamping, and we know that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Well said.
So yeah, we have a hell of a time, I guess.
Okay, now normally for like a wandering monster style encounter, I would ask you to roll a d6, and if you got a 1, there is some sort of random encounter. However, because the delicious smells of your sort of Michelin star banquet are wafting through the trees, I'm going to ask Colin, can you roll me a d6, and if you get a 1 or a 6, there'll be an encounter.
Okay.
Because perhaps something's drawn in by the delicious smell.
And it'd be totally understandable.
Well, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, this would be us on. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
6 ogres with appropriate amount of diamonds.
Good diamonds. Okay, so I'm going to ask Jackdaw, can you please roll me a d4 just to see who's on watch when this happens? 1, it's Odgit. 2, it's Tell. 3, it's Jackdaw. 4, it's Fryer. So it's Odgit.
Oh, that's a mistake because I was just going to say that I'm not going on watch. I'm sleeping. Fuck that.
Yeah, maybe we thought you were.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you tell the other guys that you weren't going to go on watch, or were you just like, yeah, I'll do watch?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll do watch.
Yeah. As I'll turn the bacon immediately.
Okay, in which case...
Yeah, I'll do watch. Nah, I'm not.
In which case, unfortunately for you guys, Odgit's like, yeah, I'll take the first watch. Yeah, no problems. So the first you guys know that something has been drawn in by the delicious smell of like even the leftovers smell fucking delicious. Something's been drawn in by. So the first you're aware of it is when you're all awoken by a loud crashing noise in your sort of makeshift camp that you've made, and you look up to see 2 huge lumbering ogreish figures, each of them holding like a big spiked club, like just a bit of wood with a nail through it, and they've literally sort of like, one of them's like got hold of your cooking pot and he's like, like pouring it into his fat fucking face, and the other one's just like kicking shit over. Now did you guys make any attempt to like conceal yourself, or were you just like keeping out?
I think we were just kibbing out because we were expecting the watch to work.
Yeah. And I don't think we're trying to, given that we actually cooked, I don't think we're trying to be stealthy here.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
this is not the SAS, is it?
okay, so
No.
one ogre is filling his face, so the other one is going to just like attack one of you because they'll get to go before you guys do. Because you're like, what? Is that you? Like,
Yeah. Well, I feel like as soon as we become aware and awake, and everybody's waking up, that's the point where I'll raise the alarm. So to make it look like I wasn't asleep.
So when the ogres are like smashing everything up, you'll be like,
Yeah.
look out, guys!
There's an ogre. There's an ogre in the camp. And I'll probably end up like attracting the ogre.
Okay, so unfortunately, the one who's attacking is going for Jackdaw.
Oh shit.
What's your AC, Jackdaw?
10.
Here's hit. Boom, boom, boom.
This is gonna be good. I feel like this is gonna be a win, guys.
You walked out with +8.
Okay, so you've taken 6 hit points of damage. Literally, you're just sort of like, you hear this crashing and you're just like, oh, what's going on? You look at it when this huge club just goes and like flings you across the clearing as this ogre, as you go, what? And just swings his club like on a backhand. The rest of you see sort of Jackdaw looking like a sort of scarecrow that's just been like thrown through the air, sort of sailing through the air and landing on the floor.
Yeah.
The other,
Ragdoll through the air.
yeah. The other ogre sort of throws down the now empty cooking pot. There's bits of like gravy and meat staining his flabby chops, and he's like, ugh, as he like looks around. Now, obviously, you will get to act now because you're all awake. So, as we said last time, just to make it a bit easier, I'm going to put up the initiative thing. So just bear with me for a second while I do that. Boom, boom, boom. So, I'd get Jackdaw. Fried Dunstone. Okay, and I've not put numbers on because, to be honest, it doesn't really matter for our purposes. So I'm just going to cycle through that. So obviously you guys have a bit of flexibility because, like, if you guys go, oh, we want Jackdaw to go before I'd get this turn, that's fine. We can do that. It's really just a case of when you guys go and when the NPCs go, to be honest. So to kick things off, we have Oddgit going first.
Well, what I was thinking is, if these two ogres are close enough, I want to chuck acid across them, create acid, fling it across their faces.
Yeah, make your magic roll and do what you do. Don't forget you need to roll your d4 for your power level, because you're a crazy mofo.
Yeah. So that's just rolling my intelligence, isn't it?
Yep.
I believe. Yeah. Ooh.
Boom.
And it's a power level of. Oh, fucking hell.
Obviously, you're still a bit groggy from having just woken up, and you're like,
yeah,
but best make myself look busy. Acid splash.
Yeah, I ain't got up to speed yet, so it's a D8. That's a D8 damage to each of them.
Okay, so roll it.
That's not bad. Not to be sniffed at.
Okay, so you fling this spray of acid. It hits the thick hides of these ogres, and they roar in pain as there's like a tss, and you see a few wisps of smoke coming up from them. Okay, Jackdaw.
Okay, so I'm somewhere in the underbrush, and did we feast and rest enough to recover from our exertions on the boat? Or...
Yes, you did. You are no longer suffering penalties to your effort.
Do that, okay. Oh boy. So
Just whilst you're thinking there, just a quick question. I got +3 on my magic. So do I get +3? I get +3 on that damage.
You do, yeah. So I will make a note of that.
Yeah, so that's 5 on each of them.
Yeah, no problems.
Okay,
one of them got doused in goblin acid.
Well, they've both been hit by the acid.
Both?
He threw it in like a huge arc.
Oh. Yeah, because your thing is area, isn't it?
Yeah, I just kind of go.
Yeah.
Hose him.
The one advantage you've got at the minute, Jagder, is because they've sort of hit you and flung you into the bushes, and as far as they're concerned, you're probably dead.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they're paying you no attention at the moment because they're like, right, that's you dealt with, right, onto the rest of the people.
Usually they die when I do this.
Pretty much.
Yeah, let me just refer to my spell here, and then we'll be good. Okay, ice barrage. So I suppose they're still close by enough to catch them both in a nearby thing. So I'll So I'll pick myself up and I'll not even bother to use the gem of change to fiddle around with the spell. I'll just use ice barrage. So I'll fire a series of big icicles basically into the ground by the feet of these ogres, which will then detonate into like shrapnel ice.
Love it. Go for it.
Let's see if I remember how to do this thing. There is, so I'm rolling intelligence to cast it, so here it goes. Yeah, I presume that's a success.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, we're on standard difficulty 12 for this scene.
Okay, yep. So here goes the magic effort. Okay, that's a 7, and I have the dragon's tooth, which will, let me do a thing. So it will poison them both. First one takes 1 poison damage if they take poison damage at all.
They do, yep.
Second one, 3 poison damage. And do you want me to roll, because there's duration, do you want me to roll duration for each, or?
Just roll once.
Yeah, okay. So 4 rounds they will take poison damage. I'll keep track of that.
So if you just remind me at the end of your turn,
I'll keep track of that.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so describe what everyone else sees as you sort of like rise out of the bushes, shedding leaves and twigs.
Yeah, and now I look like a real scarecrow because I got twigs in my hair and all kinds of plant matter as I crawl myself up from the bushes and just furious mutter the words of power, and I think there's the sort of ominous light blue glow that like sheathes the hand, and for a moment it looks like each one of Jackdaw's fingers flies off, but it was the ice coating it, which turns into a giant icicle. They embed themselves on the ground, basically where we had our fire pit, I guess, and these I can think like forearm length icicles then explode like so much shrapnel, and these chunks of ice just embed themselves, I guess, because they're in the ground. Their like legs and the back of them, because they're turned away, are just like embedded in these still chilly, and you get that sort of dry ice fog falling from them, except it's kind of tinged with an ill green
Nice.
color, the dry ice fog that comes from it, because the dragon's tooth taints my spells.
A necrotic green.
Yeah.
Splendid. And that's what happens. You hear that as these icicles explode, showering the ogres with icy, sharp shards and this sort of poisonous effluvor, this green mist. You hear them sort of hacking, coughing, and like growling. It's like.
And the other one is joking back up while he got from the pot.
Yep,
like,
indeed. Okay, Tal.
Okay. Tal will roll to one side, and as he comes to his knees, he has a throwing axe in hand and
Go for it.
throws it end over end
Okay,
into the
so
head
it's a-
of the noose.
So it's a throne, so it's dex.
Yep. I'll throw it at the closest. And it sails on past.
Okay, yeah, it sails past the ogre. Obviously, you're also a bit groggy because you've literally just sort of woke up, rolled over, and gone. "Ugh." It sails past the ogre and sinks into the ground behind him. Fried Dunstan.
Okay, so waking up and seeing that there's like two ogres and dreaming of blood diamonds. I'm going to wake up, get up on my feet. I'm going to look up to the sky and then call down the power of Gale, and it will create a glyph of a bell
Nice.
on the ground, and that will be my sound burst.
Go for it.
Okay, so that would have been an awful lot of damage, but apparently the spell doesn't go off.
Okay, so I'm going to say you do some of the sound burst and it does drive the ogres back a little bit. However, they don't seem to take a great deal of damage from it. So this ominous sort of tolling bell sound rings out, and it, a sort of wind sort of forces the ogres back a bit. However, in response to that, one of the ogres lets out a mighty roar, lifts his huge club above his head with both hands, and then smashes it down on the ground. The very ground seems to like tremble and buck and roll with the sheer force of his blow. Can you please all make me a constitution check?
No.
Okay, just waiting on Oddkit. Okay, so Tell and Jackdaw, you are both thrown off your feet and will lose your next turn as you're sort of getting back to your feet. Okay, the second ogre is going to, having seen the sort of friar sort of calling on his deity and sending out this bell sound, is going to hurl himself at you and effectively try and body slam you. So as this ogre just literally hurls his entire body weight at you, can you please make me a dex roll, Friar?
Ooh, no.
Okay. Okay, you take 16 hit points of damage as this ogre just smashes into you. You are now immobilized and underneath this creature because it's effectively like on top of you. It's literally just hurled its entire body weight on you, like WWE wrestler style, with like a and sort of smashed you into the dirt. Okay.
Sorry, it was 16, was it?
Yes, that's correct.
So I'm also dying.
Oh right, okay. Okay, so you need to make me a on your next turn. So on the next turn after you're dropped, you need to roll a d6, and that's how many turns you have left.
Okay.
Okay, so Odgit is yeah, you've still got your go, Odgit. So what are you doing? We can't hear you, Odgit.
Are they close enough for another go with the acid?
Yeah. You're in like a fairly small campsite. They're in the middle. One's on top of the friar, and the other's just smashed his club into the ground.
But like he's covering the friar enough that the friar won't.
Oh yeah, there's the one slight benefit of the friar being crushed underneath the giant ogre is there is literally no chance you are going to hit the friar.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, I think that's probably my best bet then, and I will do that. Boom. Yeah.
Roll your d4 for the power level.
Oh, for okay.
So that'll be
So that's
5.
5. Yeah. Man, where's that wild magic when I want it?
Okay, so you send out your acid splash again. The ogre who hit the ground with his club is looking quite badly scarred now. There's like bits of flesh peeling off him due to the exposure to acid, but he's obviously, they're humongous, so they're still going. Okay, so Jackdaw, you pick yourself up.
And the poison goes off.
Indeed.
So
Roll your
first
poison.
ogre, 3 damage.
Okay.
Second one, 2 damage.
Okay, so you can still hear they're both sort of coughing, and you can see around a few of their sort of wounds they sustained before your ice barrage, there's like an unhealthy tinge to the lacerations on their flesh, but they are still going. So tell.
Yeah, I like to imagine it's when you get frostbite.
Yes.
It's like that because the ice is poison, literally poison. So it's like instant frostbite from the touch.
Yeah, it's
blacken.
Yeah, it's starting to blacken, but it's still got that like unhealthy, like dark green sort of necrotic tinge around.
That's not good. You should get that checked out. No.
Okay, so Tell, you are also picking yourself up. Fry Dunstan, roll your d6.
Ooh.
Okay, so you've got 6 rounds. And I can see you've just done your death save. So you didn't get a 20, so you're still dying underneath this ogre. Okay, so the 2 ogres stand up. So obviously one's not on the friar anymore. One of them, since the only person who's up at the minute, is Odgit. One of them is going to attack you, and one's going to attack Tell because he's the most obviously like muscly target, as he's like picking himself up. So what's your armor, Odgit?
12 plus 2 by the looks of that, because I've got that ranger's cloak.
Okay, you've been hit.
Wizard's cloak.
You take 9 points of damage as this huge club impacts with you, with his slab. As basically he swings like pretty much a small tree with a big nail through it into you.
Aye.
Okay, the second one attacking Tal. What's your armor, Tal?
12.
Okay, that hits. You take 5 hit points of damage as you sort of throw yourself out of the way just as this club comes whistling down in the spot, but like the edge of it just catches you, but you manage to maintain your footing as it smashes into the ground where you were lying mere moments before. Okay, so that's the monsters done. Everyone who was knocked down is now back on their feet. So Odgit, this ogre's like moving towards you again, like lifting his club up like
I'm just gonna like pounce at him and be stabbing, like jump at his face as if to like wrap my arm around him and try and get my legs around his neck and try and choke him out whilst I'm stabbing at his neck with going for his jugular with my wizard's blade.
Okay, so make your attack roll with your wizard's blade. Obviously it's difficulty 12 still.
Yeah, and I use my
Your magic damage.
yeah. Do I use my magic to hit as well?
I believe you do, yes.
Like my intelligence.
Yeah, with the wizard sword.
Ah,
Okay,
what a twat!
so you leap up onto this ogre and you're sort of literally like on his shoulders, like stabbing him, and you have stabbed him several times, but given how like grotesquely fat and over muscled these creatures are, it barely seems to notice like the little pinpricks of your sort of your blade as you're stabbing it in.
Yeah, you've got to find a mark with that thing.
Indeed, you've not hit a vital point effectively.
No.
Jackdaw, Fry Dunstan's down. You can see Odgit's like flailing around as this ogre's like, and he's on his shoulders.
Yeah, so if possible, I would like to, as much as I can, hide behind a tree.
Yeah.
And I will summon the blood mist to hopefully hurt an ogre. And so the ogre that crushed the friar, is the ogre still nearby?
Yeah.
To the
He's
It's
literally
still on him.
he's literally just stood up off the friar, but he's like stood next to where the friar's like pressed into the soft ground.
So I will conjure the blood mist upon them both.
Okay, go for it.
Let's see. I can't really prop this up in any other way. I will use power level 2. This better fucking go off. I need something to ensure that my things go off, because they're really good. But if I miss it, then it's just I'm fucked. And there we go.
Okay, so you attempt to summon the blood mist, but perhaps due to your injuries or the fact you're still a bit disorientated and your ears are ringing from the mighty blow you took earlier, you're unable to focus sufficiently to pull the magic together.
Yeah, and then the poison goes off. So
Indeed.
the first ogre 2 damage, second one 4 damage.
Ooh.
Yeah, the poison is putting in the work.
Okay, so the one who's just stood off the friar is like starting to like sway a bit. He's already sort of like ghastly looking skin has gone like an unhealthy looking green tinge, and he's swaying almost like drunkenly. And you can see as he's staring, he seems to be having trouble focusing. Okay, Tal.
Okay, I'll try and take that guy down then.
Okay.
Quick jamming across, which is strength.
That'll do it. Roll your damage.
Smack, crack, and damage.
Oof.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay, so you leap up to the one who's already looking a bit sickly, and you jump through the air, sort of 300 styly, and smash him across the jaw. He staggers back, almost falling, sort of like reeling drunkenly, and barely manages to maintain his feet. You don't think based on your sort of previous experience of combat that this one's got much left in him. Okay, so we move on to the Friar. So make your death roll. Oh, one off. Okay, so you've got 4 rounds left. Okay, so we come to the monsters. The one who's sort of staggering about and he looks like he's about ready to fall throws his head back and he goes, "Oh!" and howls out loudly. So I'm going to make a D4 roll for him. Okay. As he lets out this growl from somewhere further in the trees, you hear another voice go, "Oh!" in answering, and you hear like of something moving closer as he is not literally magically summoned, but he's signaled to another ogre waiting in the trees that he's in trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, John, I will learn summon ogre because I have the Scrivener's kit.
No, I would tell you that the ogres in here have a special ability called Battle Cry. If they're cornered and almost dead, as this one is, an ogre will call for aid. Roll a d4. On a 4, another ogre is nearby.
Great.
Wow.
Great.
Wow.
Good job, ogre.
Okay, so the other one is going to attempt to basically like grab Tell off the back of his friend and just like throw all of his weight on him like he did with like the other one did with Friar Dunstan. So can you make me a dex roll, please, Tell? Okay.
Fail.
Okay, you take 18 points of damage as this ogre rips you off the back of his friend and then literally just like people's elbow style just like jumps on you with its entire body weight, sort of slamming you into the ground.
Well, Odgit saved my life there for the time being. With that
fine
Yes.
cooking.
Okay, you are now, obviously you're still alive, but you are now immobilized because you are like underneath this huge ogre. Okay, so we come back round to Odgit.
Okay, so well, I'm gonna have to risk it. Can I get these ogres in? Are they? Can I hose them down?
Yeah.
I'll bust out the acid then.
Okay, so you throw out your hand and a few little splatters of acid. It's just like.
Oh man, it's like Spider-Man when his web slingers are run out, isn't it?
Indeed. Okay, Jackdaw. You can see the friar's obviously lying down, sort of slowly expiring. You don't know what's happening with Tal, whether he's alive or dead, because he's underneath a giant ogre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I can't really tell. So the friar, does he still have an ogre close by?
There's one a bit nearby, but there's basically one on top of Tal.
Yeah.
Who is the sort of like the healthier one, and the one who's like more injured and is slowly succumbing to the poison is like dragging his club a bit. He doesn't seem to have the strength to lift it, but he's slowly starting to head towards Odgit, but he's moving very slowly and he's obviously struggling to walk as his strength's failing him.
All right. Let me just refer real quick.
Yeah, no problems.
I think it's still nearby the sort of distance that I'm looking at for the near. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if the wobbly ogre is still nearby to the friar, then we're gonna do that. Again, now it's down to power level 1 because I can't lose all my HP. It's the blood mist again. I close my eyes because I couldn't focus last time. Close my eyes, lean against the bark of the tree because I'm starting to feel. Because I'm fueling this with my little life essence as well. So I try and conjure the blood mist again. Come on, man. No. I'm trying, fire.
You're literally killing me here.
It's not happening, Friar.
That
Indeed.
was easy as well because it was second attempt, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is easy, but that doesn't help. It would have been
No.
9.
Shit.
Okay,
Just-
so obviously this continually attempting to call on magic plus your exertions are taking a heavy toll on you. So you are really you're almost struggling to see at this point. So your vision's getting a bit hazy around the edges.
Yeah, and then the poison goes off for the last time for now,
Indeed. So go for it.
because I cannot hit them with another one to upgrade it. So first one 2 damage, second one 3 damage.
Okay, the sickly one who's heading towards Odgit suddenly falls to his knees and pitches forward and lies still on the ground. He sort of like writhes for a little bit in obvious pain as the poison finishes its dastardly work coursing through his body. Then there's like a long exhalation of like, and you see like a thin dribble of this necrotic green slime oozes out of his mouth and stains the ground where his head lays, and he is still. So there's one remaining, the one that's on top of Tal. Now, Tal, you are immobilized because you're underneath this guy. However, if you can make a hard strength roll, I will say that you can push him off, and then next turn you'll be able to like move.
Okay.
In fact, no, I'll say if you push him off, you can take an action. Because he'll be getting off you anyway.
No.
Okay, so you're literally underneath this ogre, you're like pressed into the ground, and you're like... But you're unable to move him, so you're still immobilised for this turn.
Get this bastard off me.
Okay, make your death save, Friar. Oof. Okay, so you've got 3 rounds left. Okay, so for the monsters, the ogre is going to get off you. So that's the good news, Tal. However, the bad news is that he's going to effectively just try and he's basically going to step back off you with a plan to bring his club down and finish you off. So let me make a roll for him. He hits.
And the rest.
You take 8 hit points of damage.
Out.
Okay, so Friar, Tal. Okay, so when we get, so you may as well roll it now, Tal. So roll a d6.
Definitely.
Okay, so you've got 2 rounds. Obviously, it doesn't start until your next go.
No.
Okay, so Odgit, you're looking around. You hear this bone-shattering crunch as this ogre steps off Tal and then goes with its club. You see blood spray up, and Tal's mangled and pulped in this sort of hole in the ground that he's been drilled into. Both Tal and the Friar are down. What do you do, Odgit? Hopefully you'll mute yourself.
I'll dash up behind him and kind of claw up his back and bring my hands round and try and spray right in his face.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, man.
with the acid there. So
Go for it. Yeah, nice. Roll your damage.
it's power level 3.
Don't forget you have to add your magic to it as well.
So it's 14 plus my magic, 17.
Okay, your acid spray engulfs this ogre. It lets out a sort of a deep guttural scream that rises rapidly in pitch and suddenly stops as the acid eats through its vocal cords. It falls back sort of with bits of its bone showing through, twitches for a few moments and lies still. Okay, you guys can still hear this third ogre, the one that's deeper in the trees, is getting closer, but you've basically got a round where you can all act before it arrives. So what do you guys want to do?
I'd like to not die.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask is, obviously because it's a round, Friar, can you please make your death save? Okay, so you've got 2 rounds left. Tal, can you please make your death save as well? Okay, so you've got 1 round left. Okay, so Odgit and Jackdaw, you've got like a round to do what you want to do before this other ogre arrives. You can hear it smashing through the trees as it's obviously running to help its already dead associates.
Odgid, can you help them? And I nod at the friar and tell.
What do I have to do to assist? Like, just try and stem the bleeding in some way.
Intelligence roll. It said, "Don't down me, man."
Oh, it's that, isn't it? Yeah. Don't die on me, man. Well, I just imagine that the friar has been laying there longer.
Yeah.
Now tells a bigger, sturdier guy.
Just to remind you guys, in case you've forgotten, one of you does have that vial with the light of the gods in it.
Who's got that?
I do.
He's laying on it.
This doesn't seem like a
I wanted it
godly...
to break when I fell.
Yeah.
I'm not that cruel.
Yeah, your side is very much alive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I know about that. That's for dead people, though, isn't it?
No, dying, it says.
Oh, dying.
Yeah, it's basically a 1-use, like, boom, full health.
And I know about that. Could I retrieve that and chuck it down his neck?
Yeah, they're both just lying there. You were told you didn't have to like feed it to them. You basically have to like you were told you had to break the thing on them.
Oh,
because it's light inside the bottle. It's not a liquid, so you can't like pour it down the throat because it's light.
well, it seems like a fairly desperate circumstances, so I'll just do that.
Okay.
I don't piss about.
So you pull out this like glass vial, you smash it on the friar's chest, and this glow seems to rise from the broken glass. Then it sinks into the friar's chest near where his heart would be, and suddenly, Friar, you're like, you are now on full hit points.
Nice.
Obviously, cross off the light of the gods.
Yeah.
Can I leg it out of the way now?
Am I okay to act?
Yeah. Obviously, you can see Tal's still up.
Ah, you're fucking kidding me.
Okay, you try and summon the magics, but perhaps something about the mystical aura of this forest is interfering with your ability to contact Gale. Okay, so Jackdaw, it's down to you, man. You know dead people.
Yeah.
You know dead people.
I
you're as near to being dead as you can get without actually being dead.
Yeah.
And you're looking at Tal, and you're like, he has literally got like moments to live.
Yeah. Let me again refer to my Codex of Arcane Magic. Yeah, there's nothing here that I can tell that would prevent me from doing this. I will summon the blood mist on me and Tal.
Okay.
So.
Don't forget it's an easy roll because you failed it last time.
Yeah, because I've been trying.
Failed it every time.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Boom.
There we go.
Hey!
There we go. So, and this is gonna be a whole thing. So that was only power level 1. So 9. Still. So what happens is the blood mist descends on Jackdaw as he finally manages to focus enough to summon the blood magic and actually force it into reality. I think the blood mist actually starts from his forehead and flows as a shroud across Jackdaw and down onto the ground and over Tell, and probably as Tell gets 9 hit points and there's the first Jackdaw just like falls over backwards.
Okay, so do you want to roll a d6 for your dying, Jackdaw? Tell you are on 9 hit points.
Oh yeah, because I'm close. Because I'm
Okay.
Familiar territory to me.
So as you're watching this, Odgit, sort of slightly not believing what you're seeing, you've seen Jackdaw use this before and pull blood out of like enemies to heal the friar before. You watch as, with no enemies around still living, he pulls his own life essence.
He's messed it up.
And he casts it into Tal. You see Tal sort of like his vitality flowing back into his limbs as he sort of sits up in this trench that he's been drilled into. You turn round, Odgit, sort of like ready to give like Jackdaw the thumbs up, and as you watch his eyes roll back in his head and he falls to the ground going pallid.
He screwed up his magic again. I can't believe it.
Okay.
What's he doing?
So, Friar, being schooled in the healing arts, you look at Jackdaw and you're like, there's a person who's about to die very shortly if ever I saw one. Okay, and at this point there is a loud as the trees nearby you are just sort of shattered apart, and another one of these ogres carrying this time he's carrying what appears to be like a plank with like a couple of bones shoved through it as an improvised club, bursts into the clearing as the third ogre enters the scene. Odgit, what are you doing?
Oh man.
Can I go first, John? Because
Yeah, you
what
can.
I do might make it easier for may
Yeah,
not.
you can.
Yeah,
you
that's
can,
fine.
yeah.
You guys can go in whatever order you want.
Everyone gets 19 hit points back.
Whoosh.
Jeez.
And that was your worst roll? And no, there's just one. Yeah, sorry.
It's just one. Yeah.
Okay, so finally able to break through the arcane miasma that hangs around the forest. The friar's prayers reach Gale. You all feel new vitality and vigour flowing to your limbs. Jackdaw, you sort of sit bolt upright as you were just seeing the sort of ferryman and the barge coming towards you in the distance, and then suddenly you saw this golden light, and you heard the sound of holy bells calling you back to the land of the living. And you sit up and open your eyes.
Back. No, 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 no. Baby, come back.
Okay. So the friar's gone, so it's Odgit.
I'm gonna go look. And with my new lease of life, hopefully I will unleash a savage blast of.
I imagine as you're doing it, you're reciting the sort of arcane chants of "Please power level above 1. Please power level above 1."
Yeah.
The magic words.
Yeah, the magic words. All right. Ooh,
Boom.
The intelligence is there. Can we muster the power to go with it? Oh yeah, baby!
Okay, so perhaps galvanised by the healing energies of the friar flowing into you, you let forth this torrent of magic in acid form.
Acid 19 damage.
Okay, this acid hits this ogre full on as it's sort of smashing its way into the clearing. It howls, you can see skin sloughing off it as it screams in pain. Okay.
How'd you like that?
Jackdaw, it obviously doesn't like it. Jackdaw.
So it's very apparent that there's one more ogre, because I kind of missed.
Yeah. You look up and you're like, oh well, at least we haven't got any more. Ugh. As you hear this ogre like, as this acid sprays all over it.
Yeah, I'm probably still on the ground. Just like turn around on my knees. I will conjure the binding. So uttering words of fire, probably sparks streaming from my lips. I will use power level 2.
Okay.
Binding.
I presume, Colin, you've been remembering to deduct your HP for when you're casting your spells. Cool. Yeah, that's
14.
fine. Yep.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
still
down to 11. Yeah.
we're still on difficulty 12, so.
Yep. So that was power level 2. So.
Oh, that's wrong, isn't it?
I wonder if there's a way in this for me to have it be power level 2 when I press the roll button there. Because Colin's been doing it by hand.
Yeah, I have.
This is just a 1 die. And if I press it the second time, it adds my effort the second time. So... sorry guys, it's been a while. I kind of forgot how that works. I wonder if it's just 2d8 and then effort on top. I think that's how you've been doing it, Colin.
That's how I've been doing it. Yeah, I've been doing my damage and then just adding my.
Yeah, that seems entirely like how it would be. So let's just go with that. So another. There we go. So that is. What is that? 18 damage as tendrils of fire burst from the forest floor and wrap around the creature's hands and feet.
Okay, does that immobilize the creature? Or?
Yes, it cannot move from where it is, and it is also poisoned.
Okay, no problems. Now, since this creature only has like a mere like 3 hit points left, I'm going to say that the combination of poison and fire will finish this ogre off. So it's sort of enveloped in flames tinged with this green poisonous vapour. It lets out a howl as it's first bound and then succumbs to the poison and collapsing to the ground, dead.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd probably do that as well. Except not dead all the way.
Yeah, you sort of like slump to your knees, Jackdaw, like sweat pouring down. You're physically exhausted by all of the magics and the battering you took during that. But for the moment, the forest appears to be silent. There's just the slight fizzing of the acid still working on these 3 ogres.
Yeah, and now the smell of roasted meat.
Yeah,
because I burned that last guy.
Wow, I can't believe how sneaky those ogres are.
Yeah.
Creeping up on me like that.
Little bastards.
Eating. Tarags.
Okay, so what are you guys doing?
You'd have thought they'd have made more noise being so big and all.
Yeah.
Would have thought so, alright.
Yeah, well, won't be making much noise now.
That's a fact.
Well,
So,
should we finish our rest before we start looking for this Gloomicorn?
yeah, I'm just going to, and I'll go to my pack, and I'll get a dagger, and I'll just go to each of the ogres in turn and just like stab him in the throat a couple of times.
That's fine.
We want to make sure.
Okay, make me a wisdom roll, Jackdaw.
Oh boy,
Difficulty 12.
16.
Turn out their pockets.
As you're stabbing one of the ogres, and it's the one that's been pretty much entirely dissolved by the torrent of acid, you spot what appears to be something like glinting amidst the remnants in the sort of like the dappled light that's coming down through the trees.
Huh. So is it like in like melted viscera?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. So I'll dig in.
Okay. So you sort of like put your glove on or whatever, so not to get any acid. You dig around in it, and after sort of feeling through this sludge of half-melted ogre intestines, your hand closes around something about fist-sized and hard.
Yeah. I'll I guess because it's not fully just dissolved, it's gonna be elastic as shit and all melty. So I will have to use one arm to pull the thing, and then there's like the whatever membranes. Use the dagger to cut it out. Okay,
as you cut it out, you find yourself holding a shining gemstone in your hand. Roll me 3d100.
Ooh.
It's a gut diamond this time.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so the gem you are holding, which obviously you can put on your character, is worth 123 coins.
Nice.
got diamond, comma ogre. Okay, good. Yeah, yeah, I'll finish my double tap round because I really don't want these guys to.
Obviously, you go to the other daggers, so the other
Yep.
ogres, they're not as like melty; they're just dead and poison, and you shank them thoroughly. They are deader than dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I'll probably go to the where I was sleeping. Just oh,
Okay, not a problem. So Jackdaw digs this gemstone out of the half-melted viscera of one of the ogres, stabs the other two a few times just for good measure, then pretty much collapses into his bed.
Okay.
What are the rest of you guys doing?
I think I'll try and drag the corpses out of our camp area. So
Okay, make me a strength roll.
something does come for them. It won't get us as well. And that's the idea. Strength. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a problem. It takes you a while because obviously they're big and heavy, apart from the one that's mostly been melted, which you just sort of scoop up. But the other two are pretty much intact, so they're like a bit hard going. But thanks to your tremendous strength, you do manage to drag them a small way. And as you're doing so, you can see that the third ogre, at least, left like a clear trail because it was like smashing through the trees to like reach its comrades. So you can see like the trail of sort of broken trees and etc. like leading off into the distance, clearly like showing the path that it took through the forest.
Too late now to follow it. Let's carry on with our guard duty.
Okay. So Friar, whilst Tell's moving the bodies of these ogres and he's having a bit of a general look around, what are you doing?
I'm just going to bed as well, same as Jackdaw.
Okay, that's fine. So how about you, Odgit? Are you doing anything particular?
I'm gonna mooch down that trail where that
Okay.
ogre come from because my old gets most curious about all things. So,
Are you like stealthing it, or are you just like?
no, I'm creeping. I'll put my roadman's cloak or whatever it's called up, and
Okay, make me a dex roll.
yeah, roadman's cloak. Dex roll.
No problem. You're like a ghost. You pull your hood up, you slink into the darkness. Even Tell doesn't notice you slip past him as he sort of like stood next to the trail. You follow the trail for what must be about 20 minutes down this trail, and it leads to what appears to be a small cave that sort of like sinks into the ground. And as you're sort of like, it's quite dark in there, there's no light really penetrating deep into the cave. As you listen though, however, from further in the cave, echoing, you can hear this. Noise.
I'm guessing that's a bit of snoring.
Good actor.
Got to stick with what you know, Ian. So you've succeeded on your dex roll. There's no chance of whatever that is spotting you unless you sort of like run into the cave and like ooh. So what do you want to do, Odgit? Obviously you know that it's like 20 minutes back to like your friends. Obviously
Yeah,
the trail's clear. It's no problem for you to get back.
Do I see anything around?
Okay.
Or just have a quick mooch around where I am.
Make
without
me
going
a
into
wisdom
the-
roll, and it's an easy roll because you're hidden. So it's 9 difficulty.
Oh,
Okay, you have a quick mooch around. The only thing you find is what appears to be the long extinguished remnants of a small sort of bonfire just outside the cave, and very quietly, because you passed your stealth roll, you sort of have a quick poke around in the sort of ashes and the wood, and you find like discarded bits of bone in the ash, perhaps of something that was cooked over the fire, or maybe just remnants that have been thrown into the fire. And you find a mixture of animal bones, but there are also some that you clearly recognise as human.
Right. I think I'm not gonna do a Bilbo Baggins. I'm gonna turn around, head back up the trail. I might be stupid, but I ain't that stupid.
Okay, so you head back to the trail to where your companions are. The Friar and Jackdaw have both gone to sleep. Tell's still awake, but he's just like settling himself down, having moved the body. So when you get back, Tell's the only one awake.
I'll tell him there's here, Tell, there's another stinking ogre down in a cave down there.
Oh, bloody hell.
Well, I reckon it's an ogre. Sounds like an ogre with the old snorting and snoring and whatnot.
Mrs. Ogre.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, they've been eating people. I found bones in their fire. So they're wrong uns. In case you was in any doubt about that.
well, I was pondering. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea to go down there and attack it now. Like, it's still dark. Let's go down it morning. Yeah, I don't know if they come out at night, during the day or what, or both, or I don't know.
Well, Tell, I ain't being funny, but they was just out about not so long ago.
Yeah, so you know they come out at night. Whether they come out in the day, you're not really sure. If either of you wants to make if one of you wants to make an intelligence roll, it's a difficult roll to see if you've like heard anything about ogres.
Well, I've read a lot of books.
Go on then.
Oh, an awful lot.
Okay, so let me tell you what you know about ogres. Now, obviously, ogres, as far as most people are concerned, are like distantly related to goblins, so perhaps that's why you've sort of heard of them. You know, however, that's just like that's wrong. They're not related to goblins. That's just like what humans think. They're actually nearer related to sort of giants.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a bit of an evil reputation, but they're not like evil. They're not sort of like scheming evil. They're just very crude and they're very territorial. You know, they can come out during the day, they can come out during the night. They tend to sort of have a territory, and anything that, because they're not exactly like, they're not going to win any mastermind awards, let's put it that way. And basically, as far as they're concerned, anything that comes into their territory is like fair prey.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they look at it, if you're not strong enough to like survive,
unlucky,
you're food for something that is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the most unsettling thing is, you're pretty sure that the ogres you've just killed were young ogres, like adolescents.
Oof. Oh dear.
Are you going to mention that?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting round to thinking, Tell, that these are looking not quite as big as they should be. I think these might be youngsters, me old mate.
Oh, I think that might be Mummy Ogre in the cave then. That's not going to be good, is it?
That's not good.
I think maybe we should scarp her before she wakes up.
Well, seems like we might have stumbled into their territory. They're quite territorial, I seem to recall. I wonder if we should wake up the others and break the news to them.
Yeah, go on then.
One thing, as you're thinking about it, another odd with your like ridiculous intelligence check I'd get. You can't remember where exactly you heard it, but you vaguely remember some sort of a folklore that apparently like ogres are really superstitious. So like anything that's like not of this world, they are like incredibly like afraid of. So like demons, any like magic that conjures unnatural creatures, stuff like that, they are terrified of it. And you think, to be honest, given that the fact the friar was like chanting, that's probably why they targeted him.
Oh.
Because they perhaps thought, maybe they thought he was summoning something, or he was about to summon something, and they are like really superstitious about that shit.
All right.
But yeah, so are you guys going to wake the others and tell them, or?
Yeah.
Let's wake him up. Give him the chance to speak up. I think.
Okay, so Jackdaw.
Yeah, get up, oi, get up.
Yeah.
Bleeding ogre in the cave, isn't there?
Hey, what's going on? What's
you two are rudely awoken by Odgit.
Yeah, I went down there. I went down that track. Stinking ogre in there, and I'll tell you what. I was having a look at these, and they ain't too big. I think these are youngsters, and I think big old mummy arse ogres down in that cave snoring and snorting, and she could wake up any time and be feasting on us for breakfast. I don't think we all hang about here.
No. Maybe we should pay her a visit before she pays us a visit, because she probably won't be happy if we have just killed her cubs.
Bleeding now, if I thought you was going to say that, I'd have left you a kip.
Yeah, seems sensible. We're in the territory anyway. So.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think as you guys agree to take on this ogre and you start heading towards the cave, that is where we're going to draw a close to this session. So next session we will pick up with you guys. So like you've got a bit of time to plan while you're walking there. The ogre's not aware you're coming, so you'll have a bit of time to plan. And it'll potentially be a slightly more sort of traditional like dungeon crawly bit with you guys going into the cave, and then once that's resolved in whatever manner it is, we'll crack on with your attempt to find the Gloomicorn, because I don't want to rush to try and cram that in. So I hope that's okay.
Yeah, no, let's do some side quests. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Now what I want to do is I'm going to have a quick look at advancement, because I think it's about time you guys advanced a little bit. So,
I'm wondering, Johannes, whether we are doing this magic right or not, because I never seem to actually roll a magic effort die.
That's what you should be rolling for your damage if you casted magic.
Yeah, you're doing it when you're rolling the. Because I'm looking at you rolling.
All those D8s are your magic damage.
Yeah. When you had power level 4 for the acid, was it?
Yeah.
And you rolled 4d8, that's your magic effort.
Yeah, so I should be hitting this.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, and that takes into account the plus to your effort.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that I'm gonna go check for next time.
Yeah, because that's what I'm.
Does it count per die or just once?
Well, I believe it counts per die.
Yeah, I'll ascertain that. If it counts per die, then someone's gonna die, because it's gonna get deadly when you use your acid spray. And
yeah, because my magic is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at magic.
Power 1 magic.
So that power 1 magic just kicked out 9 damage.
Yeah,
I tell you what, man. When you bust out that like power 4 one, that was the good shit.
Yeah, I'm also good at magic when I can cast it.
Yeah.
But when I can't, then I'm not so good.
Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say we've reached a milestone.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that works is you can. And this might take a little bit of time to work out, so I do apologise for that. But you can either choose one of the milestone rewards from your class, which are listed in the core book, or if you wish, you don't have to do this. You can go for one of the advancement paths that are in the ICRPG Worlds book, and I'll give you a brief description of how that works. Effectively, there's 5 milestone paths. There's the path of iron, the path of smoke, the path of amber, the path of oak, and the path of the hawk. And they have like a tiered system of rewards. So there's tiers 1 to 4, and if you want to get a tier 2 reward, you need 2 awards of the first level.
Previous.
Yeah.
And then does that apply as well? Like when you want tier 3 stuff, do you need 3 level 2s?
Yeah, to earn a reward from a tier, you must have at least 2 rewards from the previous tier.
Okay, yeah. Simpler. Yeah.
So it's up to you guys. You can either take a milestone advancement from your class, or you can go for one of these. Whilst you're deciding, I'll tell you a bit what the paths are. The path of iron is those who master this path become invulnerable, deadly, sharp, and resistant to all the forces that seek to erode our world. Path of smoke is more your sort of hidden, stealthy stuff. Path of amber is it's based around the arcane forces you seek to use, understand, and expand these mysterious forces. At its highest levels, masters of the Path of Amber can bend time and space, break cosmic laws, and even dare the boundaries between dimensions.
Well, you sold me, John.
Path of Oak is to do with like life force, more your sort of like druidy stuff. The cosmos itself has a life force. The Oak Walker seeks to know and protect this power. Mastery of it renders you indistinguishable from the cosmic life force, and in unity there is power. Path of the Hawk is all about being like an uncanny marksman. You select targets, focus fire, and leave the enemy no retreat. The Walker of this path is one of the deadliest, often hoarding an entire arsenal of weaponry for every situation. But as I say, you can also take the milestone advancements from your class. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I'm definitely going on the Path of Amber.
You're also not restricted to one path. So if you go, I'm taking Path of Amber this time, next time you get a milestone, you could be like, I'm going for a different path. But obviously, if you spread yourself out, you can't reach the higher tiers as quickly.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know if you have the ICRPG Worlds book.
I'm looking at it now.
Okay, no problem. Well, just to give everyone else a flavour of what you can get. So, Path of Amber, Tier 1 rewards. Librum Arcano. You have an ancient tome on all things magical. It heightens your magic power. Any roll of 15 plus when casting spells now counts as a critical. Ring of Eluding. You can equip it for +3 armour. Also, if you take 5 or more damage in a single attack, you slide to within near distance instantly if you wish. Elementite Eye, a metallic eye that can be implemented with the help of a physician. You choose one element: stone, wood, metal, air, ice or fire. All magical effects of that element are always double. Hand of Cinders, a chain link glove that burns with eternal flame. With a con roll to control it, you can conjure a disc of fire with armour of 10. Lasts as long as you focus only on maintaining it. Or you can get the intelligence spell Spell Nova. Any spell cast on the turn following this cast explodes in a near radius and is critical. If your cast roll fails with this spell, you cannot use magic for 1 round.
Yeah. That is some stuff. Let me tell you.
So what are the rest of you guys thinking?
I'm just trying to find the appropriate advancement for my class.
From the core book?
Well, I'm not really covered in the core book. Oh yeah, well it's mage, isn't it?
Yeah, we're mage, so that's page 36.
Advanced, do we get extra hit points, or are we kind of stuck on the 10?
You're stuck on where you are until you get something that enables you to raise it, like specifically.
Okay. Which is an option for me.
Yeah, you have a Hearthstone in your sort of core book thing.
Yeah. I already have the Healing Nova. Yeah, none of those paths are really priest or wisdom spell friendly.
And obviously I know you guys are like mages out of the magic book, but you can take the advancements for mages from the core book.
So for our cleric friend, the Path of Amber caters to that as well. So the Path of Amber is for that stuff too. A bunch of the language is not restricted to intelligence-based stuff.
Yeah, it's just based around spells you cast, which is whatever spells you cast.
And there's also a tier 3 Oak Rosary that is specifically for holy spells. They're easy to cast. So there's some exclusively like priesty stuff there as well.
I think I might take that Path of Amber myself.
Okay. You got an idea which one you want?
He's talking to me.
Well, either of you or both of you.
Sorry, I'm finding that this character kind of mix between magic and melee that worked quite well in Castles and Crusades isn't quite working here.
Yeah,
and it's kind of not quite good enough at either. So I don't really know what I'm thinking, to be honest. Because he was kind of a tank as well, and as well as being the healer and I could also tank a bit, and I've tried to do that here as well, but I've kind of there just doesn't seem like there's enough options to spread it that thin.
Yeah, because you kind of need the stuff, like actual equipment for both in this game.
I mean, to be fair, if you wanted to be a bit more tanky, the Ring of Eluding on the Path of Amber does give you like +3 armor.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I need to be, because we have Tell, should I be less tanking and more actually good at magic?
I think it's just a matter of personal preference, to be honest. Because obviously you've already got, which is good in a way, because it means you can do what you want to. Because you've already got a couple of like other spellcasters who can do like a lot of damage, and you've got Tell who sort of melee can do a fair bit of damage. So I think it's just down to like which you prefer, to be honest. So, Tal, have you got any ideas as to what you fancy?
I was thinking of the iron one, and I've seen a kit of spikes, which even if you miss, you do a D4 points of damage. So I was thinking maybe that's something like spiked gloves.
Yeah. Well, the way it says it on here, if you carry this equipment, your gear has a painful toothy surface, so it's like pretty much any weapons you're carrying, you attach spikes to. And like you say, even if you miss in melee combat, you do 1d4 damage, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that seems to work for me. It's a dangerous world. I need to
to be fair, that's similar to an ability the ogres have got. I mean, none of them missed in the combat, but they've got an ability where even if they miss, they do 3 damage. Because they're just like so huge, it's like not possible for them to entirely miss you. Because they just sort of have to go like.
Yeah, I'll take that one then. So I'll start working some spikes and hooks and things into my knuckle dusters.
Yeah, that's fine. And what I'm going to say, because obviously we know you guys have just acquired this now, and you will have it from next session. But I'm going to assume that like you with your spikes, you've probably been like working on that during the odd spare moments during like the journey on the boat. You know, when you got a few spare minutes when you're like on watch or whatever, you've been working on it, and it's just like you've got to the point now where you're like, oh yeah, I've finished. So you have been working on it sort of in game, although we've not really mentioned it.
Cool.
You're muted, Colin, if you're talking to us.
I shouldn't be.
No, you're not now.
How'd you get spells? You find them like loot, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you make them in downtime.
Oh yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
Although, I think for both Jackdaw and Ordgit, I might give you a dot of mastery, because one for your like mad acid spray and another for Jackdaw like literally sucking his own fucking life force out.
Oh yeah, I never thanked you for that.
Cheers, guy. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just glad that it actually went off, because I tried like 4 times and
Okay, so Odgit, what sort of school is your acid splash from?
I've got a feeling it's
Is it
transmutation. Yeah, I think so.
I think it might be. I can
think it
probably
It's
look.
alright, I'm on the page.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay, I can't see anything transmutation.
It might be matter then. I think it's matter 61.
Monarch still Stormwolf.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
matter spell 61. Yeah.
I create acid. Okay, so you've gained 1 dot of mastery in matter spells. Odgit.
Okie dokie.
And Jackdaw, what's your blood mist?
Yeah, I wonder what the school of the blood mist is
Yeah,
going to
I
be. It's
wonder-
blood magic.
Yeah. So you gain 1 dot of mastery in that.
Yeah. And for Colin's information, the sheet has places for these, but it doesn't track them. It resets them to nothing every time.
Oh,
So mark
I
it
need to
down
write
in
it
the
down.
notes,
right,
yeah.
gotcha.
which is a shame. But
Yeah.
and you have 1 mastery in each of your schools already to start with.
Okay.
So we're gonna have 2 in these new ones.
And obviously, when you get to like all of your dots of mastery, like spells of that school become like incredibly easy for you to cast.
Yeah. Which is going to be great, because it's I don't know about you, Colin, but I go through my pile of fuel pretty fast.
Yep, I do. If I start rolling a few 4s.
I was going to say, I suppose that the advantage you've got, Jackdaw, is at least you know how much of your
Yeah.
life force you're burning through. Whereas,
I can control it.
Like Colin says, if he's like, oh, I've only got a couple of hit points left, and he rolls a level 4.
Yeah, which is one of the horrifying things is I can just refuel myself and kill people at the same time because of the blood mist.
Yeah.
So I could just literally just level 4 blood mist, kill someone, 18 hit points back. Oh well, I guess it didn't hurt me at all. So
Yeah.
do
Oh,
that
yeah.
again.
Yeah, definitely.
But if it doesn't go off, then I'm fucking dead. So
Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna get that librarium thing.
Oh, the one that gives you, if you roll up 15 plus, it's critical.
Critical, yeah.
yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I was gonna go for that one as well, and I probably will in the future. But I'll go with the spell Nova, John.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, see, I haven't got a very good spell for that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might walk into a crowd of people we're not gonna miss,
And blood
and,
mist them.
and I might blood miss them all.
No, how did I know that was coming? Huh? Ah, creature of habit, and if you are.
Yes, I can't help myself.
Save me from myself.
Yeah, no, it's the scene from Mask. Like, somebody stop me!
Smoking. Excellent.
Spell.
Where are you putting this mastery thing? What's the thinking on that?
I was tracking it in the notes at the very bottom. There's a free text field. So I have like all my random shit.
Oh
there.
yeah, shit.
Yeah, see, I see you've got yours written in other possessions. That's fine, Colin. As long as it's somewhere where you know it is.
I didn't realise the sheet went on so far down there.
It's like I've never been here.
We've entered an unexplored land. We've entered the realm of bottom-o character sheet.
Yes.
That accursed place.
And,
I need to get some rare ingredients. It's gonna be
Rare ingredients, you say? Oh, I'm your man.
Yeah, I mean, like actual, like non fuck you up mushrooms.
Oh, that's a little bit more
like magic ones. Because I due to the kind of sorcerer I am, I could use those to power my spells for free.
Yeah.
So that would be really useful in like a protected.
I mean, things obviously if you want to get sort of more magical shits, you need to go on more missions which are based around magical shits. Now, obviously, you might find some with the Gloomicorn because it is a magical creature, but. And I'm not trying to influence you guys, but I would say like the easiest way is just keep like knocking on the witch hunter's door and being like, got any jobs tracking down evil sorcerers?
Yeah. Can I go murder cultists?
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that? Praise Gale.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if you're like an evil like blood mist conjuring sorcerer, the best people to be working for if you don't want to get like hauled up and burnt as a witch yourself is the witch hunters. Because as long as your magic's like doing shit we approve of.
Yeah. As long as the people who get their blood sucked out are bad guys, then it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Praise Gale and suck the blood.
Because the thing about the witch hunters, although they are all sort of like very much fiery, like burn the heretics types, they're also quite pragmatic. So they're like, oh yeah, okay, we allow one sorcerer like who, if we need to, we could probably like finish him off if like it got too out of hand. But while he's killing lots of other evil sorcerers, it makes sense just to have him do that. And like, if you die while you're doing it, it's still one less sorcerer.
A sanctioned sorcerer.
Yep. Well, you wouldn't be the only person working for the witch hunters who's got magic. Put it that way.
No, that's a fact. You know
I'm
that.
a sorcerer for Gale.
Praise the Lord. Okay,
No,
guys.
I was thinking Tina Turner.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you very much for playing, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed running it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, so I'll stop the stream here.